Hi, chat. Hope everyone's having a good day, good night, good evening. We're still waiting for Kinders to get in here.
It's not my fault. Mizu distracted me with localization talk.
You're talking about localization. Thank you for the blurb, by the way. Much appreciated. I don't know why the app didn't make a sound, though. Maybe I just didn't hear it.
Blip, blip.
But yeah, we were talking about the localizer drama, which I talked about a little bit yesterday. Because it's kind of insane that these people have jobs, to be quite frank.
Do your job. That's what I don't understand.
Yeah, like nobody knows how these guys actually got work, to be honest.
Well, let's be real here. This is the same people that they'll literally be like, it's okay, guys. Japanese is this really complex thing, and I'm like learning Japanese right now, and it's like really easy once you start like kind of picking up on it. I'm not saying that I can read anything yet, but when you start learning, it's like, oh, it's just pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Like, most of the creative names you see in the West is only because, like, they're like, we cannot just call it Guardian Warrior. We gotta call it the Warriors of the Guardian Tower or whatever.
Hope everyone had a good day, because it's gonna be ruined now. Also, chat, for today, I ordered something and it just came in. Because people were telling me, you know, like, you shouldn't be getting the Pokemon cards. You should get something, you know, that's not, like, scalped to hell and a little bit cheaper. So I have, here on my desk, a pack of Digimon cards. Specifically from Time Stranger. And I will say, you do get a lot more with this. Because it is 12 cards per pack, with 24 packs in the box. So one day this week, I will open this. There's like 288 cards in here.
Does that mean we talk about Logan Paul then? Or Jake Paul? I don't know, they look the same.
Oh, fuck them people. Cardboard crack addiction. It's not addiction. Don't you dare go the Digimon route. What's wrong with Digimon?
Digimon's great. Digimon has Angel Woman.
Look, somebody in the audience mailed Akko Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I think I'm allowed to have Digimon cards. I will battle you, I swear to God. Fair play. Also, I had sent a picture to Akko and a couple other people, but the scalpers have started to throw away full art cards. So I got a free full art card today. They just
listen, if it
do
ain't
not
worth
care.
$1 billion, listen, if it ain't worth $1 billion, throw that sucker away.
Apparently. No laws against the Digimon, Batman. But chat, today we're going to talk about sexual assault in anime.
Yes.
We can blame this one on Kendra too, because Kendra at one point recommended it.
Listen, I recommended this months ago. You can't blame me. This is your fault.
Well, now we're here to cover it. So chat. Also, again, as people have noticed, Kendra for some reason always picks the black creators.
Listen, it's not my fault. She just showed up in my timeline.
Calling it now, SAO is going to be in this video. I don't know if SAO will be. Very likely it will be. Specifically the fairy arc. But the video is supposed, by the title, about Apothecary Diaries and Gachikuta. Which I definitely pronounced the second one wrong. All I know about it, I'm pretty sure, based on the picture, because I don't recognize the name, is it's got, like, the girl in it that's getting, like, raped by the guy, and it's shown in, like, these really cartoonish crayon drawings.
It's supposed to, like, represent, like, how she technically doesn't understand, and then, like, she's broken. Because, like, I need to catch up with that part of Gachi Yakuta, because I'm like, screw that, I'm gonna go read the manga instead. It's good manga. It's good manga. It's just
All I've seen from that series is the rape scene where it's in crayon drawings, and then another scene later where a guy just beats the shit out of her.
that's the end scene.
That's all I've seen about that anime.
It's supposed to represent how, despite being the victim, you're not killing people. You can't kill people. Oh no. Here's the thing. I've seen the Gachi Akuta fandom. We're not comparing that to the My Hero Academia fandom. They're actually pretty chill until next season comes out, from what I've seen. Now, every other franchise going on right now, like the Amazing Digital Circus fandom, yeah, they're cancer right now.
I know. I'm gonna have to deal with them when I go to the theater.
Something about Pickle Rick that happened at the theater.
Pickle Rick!
You know what's gonna happen. What is it? People just won't. Every single time people go to the movie theater, and it's only when it's like a big fandom, they always pop off the seats, and it's like, brother, sit down. Children are more quiet than you.
Yes. Anyways, chat. Hope you're ready for Kendra's choice of the night.
Anime has a sexual assault problem, and after watching Lady Anshi's story in the Apothecary Diaries and Amo's story in Gachiakta, I realized that we are past the time of needing to talk.
I feel like I definitely pronounced that wrong. I feel like she pronounced it worse. Because there's a K in there, so I don't know how we ended up with Gachiaka.
Yeah.
Unless the K is silent.
I think they're trying to do the whole like Japanese pronunciation, but the thing is that like you gotta actually like pronounce it like the Japanese. You can't just do the whole like kind of like kind of like the valley type accent to it. It's Gachi Akuta, and you could say it fast, but again, you gotta pronounce the K.
Gachiaka. Thank you, Artemis. Kendra is queen, black on black hater. We love her.
I'm not. Listen. Notice how I stopped recommending black people after this. I noticed it, and I was like, you know what? We're stopping this now. But unfortunately, Mizu wants to paint me as a hater. It's chat's fault.
Sure it is. Thank you, Young Fly Alpha, by the way, for joining my waves, which is one of my member tiers. And thank you, Nerdy Text and Accountant, says Mizu getting all the TCTs now. Just the only I really do only pick ones that I'm interested in. I like Digimon, so. But we continue.
About this. I'm Oppa the Otaku. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're not new here, welcome back. Today, we're going to be shining a light on one of anime's darkest problems. In the past, as a woman who watches anime, when I would express discomfort at certain scenes, I would always be met with mostly men who would push back and say things like, "Don't be so sensitive, it's just Japanese culture."
Don't do that. Oh my god, that hurts. What is wrong with you?
Oh, also, I hate when people say this. It's Japanese culture. It's like nobody says this. Like you could like use anything, but nobody says this.
Yeah.
It's like it's just their culture. And if they do say that, there's something. They're just a kid who just doesn't understand what they're saying anyway. That's what I've mostly seen. But it's not. I just don't understand why people even use that as an argument. Like no one says this. That's like saying. Don't be so sensitive. Americans turning themselves into 600-pound lives is just their culture. Like, no, it's not.
Also, we don't do the ear rape thing anymore. Like that should have been left like 20 years ago on the pre-internet days. Like,
my thing is, even if you do it, you can't just have it at like a separate volume.
Yeah, it's so loud. Why'd you do this?
And after hearing that so many times, I just started to accept it as true. Yet, when I moved to Japan 2 years ago, admittedly knowing nothing about the culture outside of they were the ones making anime, I quickly learned that the over-sexualization that we see in mainstream anime is in fact not Japan's culture. At least not in the ways that people in the West make it seem. But we'll get into that later. And in addition,
I just always wonder, why do these people move to Japan?
Because it's safer. That's literal. Okay, I like watched this guy because I know I'm pretty sure you've seen that guy like I think it was something before you sleep, whatever. I forgot.
Think before you sleep.
Yes, Think Before You Sleep. I don't know why I forgot his name, but he basically covered it recently too, where like he called out like YouTuber abroad in Japan, where I thought personally, because I was like, unfamiliar with this content, but like, when you move to Japan, you kind of have the expectation that they actually took classes and learned the language, and it's like, no, he's been in this country for over 8 to 10 years and doesn't know anything past the dialogue tree of thank you for my food, and can I order food? And this actually explains why a lot of his streams are with Sea Dog is thank you for the food, and they're always eating. They just do it for safety. They do it because it's like a safer, clean place, and it's like, okay, yeah, but like, why are you complaining about not being taken seriously and you haven't learned the language, bro? Like, come on.
Moving to JP because of weeb shit is dumb. That's what confuses me more. They don't seem to even like anime, so what are you going to Japan for? Also,
I know she's trying to say like, oh, it's not the same sexualization. It's different, guys. It's a lot more different, and it's like,
I had people getting mad at me for this today, this exact thing today, because somebody said that Zenless Zone Zero was a Gooner game, and people were dogging on them, and I came in, I'm like, no, it's 100% a Gooner game. Like, there's the whole bath time animatic, there's the whole implied car sex. Your sister character in the game is clearly trying to hop on your dick at every given moment. Like, it's a Gooner game.
First ads were literally for the game before they got it changed because of the CCP, where there's literally that one pink twin tail girl jiggling all over the place. And then there was another ad where 4 of the girls were implied to be getting in the shower and touching each other.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Like, okay, bro. Like, even if you want to not believe it's a Gooner game, they're advertising it kind of like one because...
And people are trying to compare it to, like, other stuff. They're like, well, there's more Gooner stuff, so this is not a Gooner game. It's like, that's not how that works. Just because... The example I kept using with people is just because hentai exists doesn't mean that ecchi isn't lewd. It's just there's, like, levels of lewd to it.
Levels of lewdity.
Also, somebody got in a fight with me over FGO, because they're like, you would probably call FGO a Gooner game. It's like, it's literally based on eroge.
I mean, quite literally, yes. Like, even if Grand Order isn't, like, a Gooner game, its source material is.
No, Grand Order is still a Gooner game, because Astolfo is still trying to fuck everybody, and every single lolly is wearing a micro bikini.
Was it not only that, one of the movies, when it debuted in theaters in Japan, one of the literal gifts you could get at the booth with your ticket is a snippet of the film, and one of the scene, and that included the scene of when, I don't know, the purple hair girl was taking off her clothes in full nudity, and it's like, okay, bro.
Probably Medusa.
It's that main girl, the one who gets attacked by her, I think her brother? I don't know.
Chat, I'm never going to stop calling it eroge.
Eroge is a good word. It's best to describe it.
Well, I think people want me to overpronounce the E and say eroge.
No, it's called eroge. It's called eroge because that's how they say it in Japan. They say it eh.
I keep saying it eroge, chat. It's exactly how I'm going to say it.
Jack the Ripper.
Also, the newest Zenless Zone Zero character, apparently whenever she eats food, her breasts just like expand. At least she does in the preview. Her breasts are definitely getting bigger.
Okay. Okay, no, but Mizu, clearly you're looking too deep into it, and even though her breasts are jiggling, it's not a Gooner game.
Internet Zen for 5. ZZZ isn't a Gooner game. Explain Jane Doe then. ZZZ is a Gooner game with a good story. Jane Doe is the one I'm talking about, the car sex. It's heavily implied that she fucks the dude in the car. And people are like,
what about that?
I had so many people calling me a tourist, but also replying to my tweet going, car sex? What are you talking about?
Never mind the fact that there's the other Jane Doe scene where she's seducing the female driver.
Yeah, that's what. There's definite car sex going on.
This girl springs both ways, and people were basically gushing about how there was so much Yuri in this game. So it's not a Gooner game because there's a lot of Yuri. It just reminds me of that one Tumblr post about how someone this person got attacked because they literally said people want Yuri, but they don't want any of like the gross, like actual like Gooner part of it. They just want the we're running in a field around our mansion and only hugging and touching and holding hands. That's it. None of the sex stuff. That's totally not what Yuri is.
Weirdos. But that's a very long tangent to say that's one of those things where people just they want theirs to be like different. What's the popular meme people do? It's I like it for different and more nuanced reasons than you.
The difference is the fact that is used unironically. Listen, it happened with Love in Deep Space. It happened with ZZZ. It's gonna happen with another gacha in the future.
I mean, that's what's happening with this. It's like, the Japanese, they prefer porn in a more deep and nuanced way than Westerners do. It's like, okay, buddy. I'll give you, their jabs have a lot more story going on in it for some reason.
Sometimes you just get invested into it.
Japan's culture. I also learned that for years, Japanese people, particularly Japanese women and other people throughout Asia, have lent their voices to speak out against this over-sexualization and the rampant sexual violence against women.
And they're deeply unpopular, and people regularly decry them for like making a mountain out of a molehill.
This is also something that because again, we're gonna take a look at the articles later. Because Think Before You Sleep also called this out, and I thankfully am not the only one who noticed this. Most of the people that do this stuff are, again, people who pretend to know Japanese and then pull up a bunch of articles with like the most European name ever.
Yeah. And then like when you see like some of these rallies for this stuff, like, oh, we need to deal with the sexualization in anime, it's not even like, at least in America, right, when you have a shitty rally, you still have like a solid 100 people show up. In like these Japanese rallies, they literally have like 5 ladies show up. Like genuinely no single digits people protesting this stuff. It is so astroturfed. It is so stupid.
It also doesn't help that a lot of these people that quote unquote are at these Japanese rallies are mostly European people hopping over to Japan because they technically can't get kicked out because they're being a public disturbance because, you know.
Oh, that's the other thing the chat mentions. A lot of times the posters they have for these rallies are completely in English with a token amount of Japanese like written at the bottom. But the rest of the sign in big bold letters is almost exclusively English. And it's like, we know who this is for. This is not like protesting for changes in Japan. You are trying to get on the news. This is astroturfed as shit. I don't know who you think you're fooling.
It's often found in anime and manga. And mangakas like Natsuhyuga from the Apothecary Diaries and Kei Urana from Gachiakta are really the culmination of all of those voices over all of those years, at least symbolically. And today...
Yeah, you're trying to co-opt their work into your bullshit.
You know, it's really funny because, like, there was, like, a whole thing recently because of the whole Witch Hat Atelier series that got called out for how it was astroturfed by I don't know which UN or EU news report, but people pretty much just pointed out being like, it's kind of weird how you guys single out these authors and not the fact that 70% of mangaka are women anyway. There's been female voices for the longest time. Freaking a woman was what basically pushed the anime industry into the fan service market to begin with.
Yeah, they're writing the Gooner work. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, you see, clearly men did this. I'm saying this right now because I've actually seen this before Batu got taken down. There was literally a manga series dedicated to women's romance lives. And I'm like, this is a lot stranger than I realized. Like, what the heck? because a lot of them were very dubious consent, and it was mostly just women writing about other women's experiences. And I'm just like, you know what? I think I've underestimated just women in general, and I myself am a woman. Like, they're the ones writing it, bro. Come on.
Really quick, Toa for 5, just as long as you know the difference between Aragay and Nukigay. And then Rose Commander for 5, Yugoon for insert simple reason. Igoon for insert complex bullshit reason. We are not the same.
I'm gonna lend my voice to that cause as well. As usual, we're gonna break today's video down into 3 sections. First, we have to confront that regardless of what people on the internet...
So what are we gonna have? We're gonna have the intro. Anime's essay problem is still prevalent despite activism in the space, because nobody wants to listen to you fucking crazy whores. Lady Anshi's reception is tainted by Anime's essay problem. And Amo's backstory is the most poignant clip on essay in modern anime, and then recap.
My thing is, it's always anime. How about going to help a shelter?
Yeah.
That's it. Just go help a shelter.
Like, it's always, you're mad about fictional works like video games and shit. Why are you never, like, actually doing activism? Like, real activism?
My thing also is that this video popped off, which is why I found it in my timeline. And it's like, you didn't even like link anything. Like, at least some of these people link stuff, but no, you gotta like,
she just
you
talks
wouldn't even
about
link
stuff.
a real org. Exactly.
Fair.
They want to believe the sexual assault issue in anime is not an issue of yesteryear. It is happening today in mainstream anime and manga in 2026. Despite years, decades of people pushing back against it, not only in Japan, but abroad as well. Then we're going to examine Lady...
Yeah, the problem is the abroad. Literally every single person abroad that has pushed back against it has gotten exposed as an actual pedophile.
Yeah.
That's not even like a small joke. Literally every single one has gotten exposed for having like child porn.
Specifically the UN, and the UN specifically is always targeted Japan, being like, no, despite we're having this really controversial country over women and children's necessities, the anime girl.
She has not brought up the trains, the phone cameras, or Junko. They will always bring up Junko, by the way, even though it's like, what, almost 50 years at this point?
My thing is, I hate people who actually bring up Junko, because like the whole point of her case is that it's a tragedy of like an actual abuse case on women, and so you're treating it on par with the anime character and not leaving this girl alone and putting it in your TikToks and your videos. The only reason why you should ever cover the Junko case is as a documentary.
Yeah.
That is it. Because if you do that outside of that, it is so like insulting and just, it's not even cringe. It's just an insult to just women.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. I'm remembering this one girl from like this one TikTok where she like wrote down a script and then read the script as a TikTok about like, and then just added Junko's name in there. And I'm just like, women are afraid everywhere. And I'm like, this is gross. And people were literally like jazz snapping at her, being like, you go girl, spit your truth. And I'm like, am I like the only one in the room right now who is like really disgusted by this? Like, come on.
Let me really quick too, because I think this is right. Yeah, no, we're coming up on like 50 years since this happened.
Yeah.
Like it's been a long ass time since this happened. And like, yeah, everybody agrees it was a tragedy. That's why it was such a huge fucking deal and everybody's heard about the story, specifically because it's not common and it basically never happens in Japan. Like, I dare you, pull me up one other Junko case that's even remotely close to it.
Was it someone said only Junko I know is Enoshima from Danganronpa? I'm saying this right now. If you want to have a bad day, if you don't want to have a bad day, do not read Junko's case. But if you're really curious, just be careful. There's a lot in that case that just made me feel like absolute garbage when I first read it.
It's a rough one.
There's that. Yes.
And thank you, Fail, for the 4 months member. The Dr. Pizza effect is a thing for a week reason. It is.
Banshee's role in the Apothecary Diaries, not just as a victim of sexual assault, but more specifically as someone who takes revenge against her abuser, and how that's received as a result of the sexual assault issue that's already existing in anime. And then we're going to discuss what I believe is maybe one of the most poignant segments on sexual assault in mainstream anime, and that's Amo's backstory from Gachiakta. And the point of unpacking all of this is just to say, yes, anime does have a sexual assault problem, but right now, if you are a woman or a girl who loves anime, we are in the best possible time to be fans of the genre, because there are women mangakas that are speaking out against this, that are using their voices, using their airtime, using their publishing to speak out against this publicly. And
you only care about the women that don't like it, because there is a vast amount more women that are for it. And again, as you just mentioned a couple minutes ago, the two women behind these two series have not spoken out against it at all. Yeah. You're just assuming they are because you liked how they handled their stories.
You can handle something well and still have your own personal preferences. That's the point of being like a human being.
Like, it is. You have to think about logically what specifically she's saying here. She's saying this mangaka handled sexual assault as a topic well in her story. Therefore, she agrees that Japan is a broken country that is bad for women. That is essentially what she's saying. That makes no fucking sense. Absolutely no correlation.
Yeah, I'd argue that for plenty of other countries. You know, there's one country last year that recently lowered the age of consent for 14 and 8. Why are we talking about that country? Oh wait, it's not Japan and it's not popular, so we're just not going to address it.
You don't understand, okay. Kendra. Japan just now increased their age of consent to 17 or something.
Oh my gosh. I don't understand people that always say stuff like that. Be like, everyone knows what the age of consent is, but because you got a bunch of children running around and a bunch of predators also trying to go after a bunch of children, everyone just doesn't understand that the whole point of the age of consent is just Romeo and Juliet laws. It's literally just Romeo and Juliet laws. But everybody wants to act like an Einstein with the brain of a peanut. So we just gotta apparently play devil's advocate with these people on the same playing field as anybody who's normal. I just don't understand this.
Internet Zen says, men did this. Last I checked, Rumiko Takahashi was a chick, and she was making manga back in the 90s, so this hack is talking out of her ass.
Even older, she's been making manga since, I think around, the 80s or the 70s, and even then, she's gone on record saying, I do not want to be married. I do not want to hook up with a man. That seems exhausting. And she's constantly talking about how beautiful women are. And it's not, she basically just does not care. She's like, I will make my fan service. And here it is. And so people like to pull up that one image of Inuyasha being like, oh, she told the studio to not make Kagome's shirt show her skirt show her panties. How brave of you. Yeah, she also wrote Urusei Yatsura and how Lum was supposed to have her bikini top snatched.
Exactly.
Okay, bro.
It's it's that meme that's been going around with the hentai. Or it says, when I find a hentai image and it's a lore accurate character. These are artists who deeply, deeply care about their characters canonically, how they would act. So that's how they don't make these decisions based off specifically, oh, I don't like fan service, so this character can't be involved in fan service. It's this character specifically in my lore would not be a part of fan service. This character that is also in my lore would probably run around butt naked if they could, so every chance they get, they're going to be naked.
Yep. Never forget also that people who say that forget that despite Kagome not being the central fan service character in the series, there's a lot of male fan service in Inuyasha. Like a ton.
Also, she still gets naked plenty.
Yep.
Like, it actually happens more than I think people realize.
Like the bathhouse scene, that time she had the sheet cone. Well, actually, no, she just got cut for that one. But basically, if it's a bath scene, she's naked in it.
Yep.
We should all be lending our voices to their cause and highlighting the work that they're doing. Quick disclaimer, for ease of speech, I will be using sexual assault and assault interchangeably and as a general term for sexual assault, trafficking, pedophilia, sexualization, over-sexualization.
You should not be using sexual assault and assault as a blanket term for all of these things. I don't know why you thought that was a good idea. That is a horrendously stupid idea.
Not only that, we're like 2 minutes in the video and you're putting up all these disclaimers when they should have just been like a blurb in like the first minute, like the first second, so that you wouldn't have to make this type of disclaimer. People can read. That's the point.
Thank you, Toa, for the super. Also, Urusei Yatsura movie 2, Beautiful Dreamer, is best movie.
I'm pretty sure most people agree with that. It's basically the everybody, that's the more like fan favorite, like everyone loves, but that, funny enough, Rumiko doesn't like it, so she wrote her own script for a movie and everyone didn't like it.
Fair.
She tried, bro.
Rape and sexual harassment. So now let's get into this.
So remember, guys, when she says sexual assault or assault, it could mean sexual assault or assault, or it could mean rape, pedophilia, harassment, just similar things that are all pretty, they're all pretty much interchangeable. Just keep that in mind. This is a video you scripted, right? Like, you can... You don't need, like, an ease of use. This video is scripted and edited. Like, what are you doing?
I made a TikTok about this exact subject about a couple of weeks ago, and something that kept coming up in the comments that really had me flabbergasted was the idea that the sexual assault issue in anime no longer exists, and that's just not true. The My Hero Academia anime just completed 5 full seasons of sexualizing Yaoyorozu, a 16-year-old high school.
It's the same argument again. It happens every day. It's gonna haunt us for the end of time. It's not even good fan service. Oh my
God. Remember, she started saying that sexual assault was just an interchangeable term that she might use to refer to pedophilia. So, in this time, she's trying to say it's pedophilia. That's definitely what she's going for. Because she's a 16-year-old girl. She's a drawing. Shut the fuck up.
My thing is, there was a literal anime that came out recently about how a girl can stop time by just pulling down her underwear. Why is nobody ever talking about that being brought up in an argument? At least get creative with it. And not freaking My Hero Academia. Like I said, I've said this multiple times. The fan service in My Hero Academia ain't even that good. I'd rather go watch Kyle. At least he actually knows what he's doing.
What's that anime that people are posting pictures of the girl that has to kiss the dog's asshole?
You're talking about Inukai's dog?
No, that's a different one. This is like a magical girl where an actual guy was turned into a dog and she has to turn him back into human by kissing his asshole.
Okay, I don't know about that one.
I'll have to find it and send it to you.
Dog and Scissors? I don't think that's Dog and Scissors. So that's another anime about like a sadist author who a guy ended up dying and getting reincarnated as a dog. Oh, it's a cat.
The Gachi it was a cat? My bad. The Gachi writer was taught by the creator of Soul Eater and Fire Force. I didn't know that.
Yes. Oh yeah, no, somebody literally tried going up to the author and being like, Soul Eater's mid and you're mid, and she responded with, Soul Eater is God, get out of here.
See, I'm not crazy, chat. It is real because people are correcting me that it's a cat, not a dog, so they know what I'm talking about.
Oh my god.
So yes, this is an actual anime that currently exists. Thank you, Wolf Spade, for the super. Sesha Homaru was the first
Oh,
Itachi,
Sesshomaru.
every girl's obsession.
You're talking about Sesshomaru.
Sesshomaru. That makes more sense.
Yes.
My pronunciation will always be bad.
Well, I'll make fun of you for it.
That's fair. I speak American.
Academia, I'm just going to give you a brief overview. All of these main and supporting characters have different quirks. Her quirk is...
I don't know why you're making a video based on anime and feel the need to explain what My Hero Academia is.
Because people need to know, for the 5 people who don't know about My Hero Academia. Oh, it's the classroom of the black cat and a witch.
Yep, nope, that's it.
Nah, this looks like a sus series.
Spica Virgo is a budding witch who admires Claude Sirius, a skilled wizard and teacher who mysteriously vanished one day. However, due to her clumsiness and lack of skills, she feels it's difficult to fulfill her dream of entering the Royal Diana Academy, a prestigious magic school where Claude was once a teacher. One day, she encounters a black cat. She is surprised that the cat can talk and asks it for help entering the academy. After learning that the cat was formerly human but cursed to have this form, Spica aims to undo the curse. She learns that she has rebirth magic, which gives her the power of regeneration, and that she can undo the curse by kissing the cat's butt. She does so reluctantly, leading the cat to reveal itself to be Claude. With this, Spica enters the academy with Claude, becoming her teacher, with Claude still maintaining a cat form, as Spica's magic remains too weak to lift the curse fully. By the way, the series is about her becoming a strong enough mage that she can kiss his asshole hard enough that he will stay human forever.
This has to be someone's barely disguised. That is.
What do you mean barely disguised? Who's barely disguising anything?
Someone saying, did Shane Dawson write this?
This has 106 chapters, by the way.
What do you mean 106?
There's 106 chapters.
Oh my god.
The anime is still ongoing.
What do you mean the anime is still ongoing?
It just started this year, April 12th.
I think we need to end humanity.
I was interested, Chad. I thought you would all like to know about it.
Is that she can make tangible items from her body, right? The proteins, the lipids in her body. And in order to do that, a certain amount of flesh needs to be shown for whatever reason. Okay, perhaps, fair enough. I don't think it warrants this costume, but let's just go with it. Now here.
Stop bitching about the costume. Oh my god, like this is the most like censored possible. Remember when we had that person that's like, here's some options for fixing the costume, and every single one was more sexual than her already existing costume?
Yes.
One of them was just a bikini.
Guys, the fat is stored in the boobs, the stomach, and the thighs. This is literally it. This is it. That's it.
It's so dumb.
What, would you want her to be anorexic? Would you want her to be flat? Is that it? Is because y'all are actually flat is justice in disguise?
It's like, it's like really not that bad of a costume.
But boobies.
Also, thank you, Baracho Gato, for the super. That's how you get toxoplasmosis. And then thank you, Dragon, for the super. This woman's head would explode reading Berserk. They'll never, like, challenge Berserk because it is, like, such a huge thing. They will always just be like, yeah, you know, like, there's some problematic themes in it, but, you know, it's good. It's fine.
That and they'd get attacked on the spot.
You know, you'd be dead trying to hate on Berserk.
Like, literally everybody would collectively be like, this is a dark fantasy. What did you expect? Everyone gets murked here.
Yeah.
A male counterpart also in the show. Now, his quirk is that when he activates his power, he permeates through all objects, including his own clothes. So he'll just disrobe, which would put him in a sort of similar issue as far as what costume should he wear, right? Very similar to Yaoyorozu. Except in this universe, they have the technology to make his uniform out of his own hair so that it will permeate with him. Why wouldn't Yaoyorozu's uniform also be made out of her own hair so that things could be produced through it? It's a
because she has to get to the fat, not the hair. You retard.
Oh
fat is not stored in the hair, it's stored in the titties and the tummy and the thighs.
The pee is stored in the ball. So literally a pee is stored in the bald moment.
Also, I'm so fucking waiting for her to talk about the Invisible Girl.
Oh my gosh.
Why doesn't she make clothes out of her hair? Because it's hot as fuck. I don't care.
Not only that, but it looks like from what the story shows, just invisible people they have their own culture. It doesn't matter. That's cool world building, but these people wouldn't really acknowledge that.
Thank you, Artemis. Just realized I went to eat family dinner and we're still only less than 5 minutes into the video. She's dumb. Like, it makes me want to throw shit.
Very distinct choice to sexualize a 16-year-old girl. And please don't even get me started on when they had Hagakure, another 16-year-old girl, naked on the anime cover. Now, I'm not going to show it here because, ew. I think it came out in 2022, and I'm not sure if they've
Are you serious?
revised it yet. I will look that up.
Oh my gosh. She's talking about the Invisible Girl, so that's her name. She's talking about when the Invisible Girl debuted on the cover and everybody was like, oh, this is so gorgeous. Her hair is so beautiful. But why is she naked?
Where is the cover? Because unlike
Also,
you, I ain't no bitch.
Also, don't trust comicbook.com.
What?
Or CBR or any of these types of comic people. The comic community has their own issues to deal with, like not being so expensive that people would rather buy manga because it's cheaper.
Why does everybody have this like cover censored? Give me the uncensored cover, you bitches. So many of these are censored as shit. I didn't realize they were doing this like bad with it. You know what? This one's close enough. This is the cover she's talking about that she's super upsetty spaghetti about. That people loved it. They thought it was great. Except the My Hero Academia kids. So as reported by comicbook.com, Hirokoshi states that he never intended to use the image, but that it was hastily and unwisely chosen in an attempt to meet a publishing deadline. In the statement, which is reported to appear in a Japanese version of the manga's latest volume, Hirokoshi goes on to explain that the controversial image was actually a years-old reference sheet he intended to use for in-house color testing purposes, and that it, therefore, had no connection to the My Hero Academia chapter it appeared in. Hirokoshi ends the note by saying he is quite surprised by the use of the image in the chapter, as that was not his intention to publish it at all, let alone in the actual manga. I would need to actually see that, because this is comicbook.com is reporting on something he allegedly said on the manga. Why don't you just show what he said in the manga?
What is it? I found it. All I had to do was type in uncensored.
Fair.
There you go. I put it in host space.
Thank you. And then I'm gonna say this. It might get me in trouble. I hate when black people type in Ebonics. A lie don't care who tell it. Just speak normal. Speak normal. You live in another fucking country even. Like, why do you type in Ebonics?
Because Ebonics. My thing is not really... to be fair, though, you do have a point. What is it? My thing is, like, I could understand doing it with friends. Like, it's, like, one thing to, like, do censored Twitter, like, It's one thing to do like shortened Twitter type text with like friends or again Twitter, but when you're like trying to make a point in a presentation, you can't just do Ebonics because not everyone's gonna get it. And it's like, okay, you could Google it, but like you're trying to make a point right here, right now. You need to do better than that.
Yep. No, just stop talking like that. Anyways. Thank you, Internet Zen, for the super. I don't show under Kagome's skirt. That's bad. Now, Kagura, on the other hand, go nuts with what I did to her.
I mean, Kagura is the best girl in Inuyasha, and I will be fought for that.
I remember when they were trying to make Ebonics an official language. I forgot when they were doing that. That was... The fuck is Ebonics? Ebonics was supposed to be an offensive name for how black people in America speak. However, a lot of black people tried to turn it into an official language because they just refused to speak correctly.
Okay, so it's kind of like, how should I put it? So they called it Ebonics, but the white version of it is AAVE, so that it could be more
African American Vernacular English.
Exactly. They did it. They just changed it to AAVE to be more acceptable, so that you could get accepted as a black person, which caused a whole other controversy about how, you know, it's basically how wanting to make it acceptable for other white people.
It's really fucking dumb. You just speak like a normal person. Especially when you're typing a video essay. It's cringing gay to not do that.
My Hero Academia is not alone in this. We can look at Tamaki from Fire Force. Now, people often...
Good, she needs to be more naked. Less clothes.
Listen, I've had my issues with Tamaki's gimmick, and it's not because she's fan service. It's just that the fan service goes on too long when she should just have a Blair type fan service and get on with it. That's it. That's literally it.
And like, you have to understand that this girl was made by like literally the exact same guy that came up with Maka. Like,
yep.
Who he specifically said he wanted to give the girls like a strong, independent woman character they could relate to in one of his works.
Ironically, also, Maka has a service that was cut from the anime, and everyone collectively agrees, like, specifically for Maka, she's already pretty enough and hot enough that you don't need to do fan service because she is fan service incarnate.
Exactly. Like, you can bitch about his characters all you want, but he's done the work you want. He's literally one of the earliest cases of doing what you want in shonen. Like, get over it, bro. Tola, thank you for the super. If I remember correctly, Ebonics was originally derived from Midlands British English. Think Cockney. That just makes it even less of a real language.
What, you don't like Cockney English?
Officer Buck Tudd Russell. It will always do my head in how simultaneously degenerate and at the same time prudish progressives can be. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Listen, that's why I always will make fun of furry sometimes.
True.
Talk about Tamaki's Lucky Lecture lure as fan service, and I too dropped the show because I felt like that fan service was a bit out of control. But
good, go the fuck away. Stay away.
Like I said, I understand the fan service compared to Soul Eater is just exhausting. It's like get over with it. But the difference is that I understand the fan service for more nuanced reasons than you do.
Exactly. One sec.
Shortly
I
after
dropped the show
dropping
because
the
it's
show,
boring.
I learned that not only are they putting her in these highly sexual situations that the character doesn't even enjoy being in, she's 17. So they're doing this to a minor repeatedly, over and over and over.
They're doing this to a drawing that has literally no agency at all because it's a drawing.
My thing is like, My thing is, like, if you were gonna bring up any scene, if you're gonna bring up any point, you should have just brought up how cringe that the ending was, and how the author used his character as like a self-insert for why he's keeping the fan service. And you can't stop him about it. Which actually, everyone collectively made fun of him for it, and also called him based for it at the same time.
It was very based.
I was laughing for that thing for like 2 days straight.
Again. And again, I've since dropped the show and manga, and I've had
Good.
people say that towards the end they reveal a very plot specific reason for why her clothes need to come off for this lure or this curse, however you want to phrase it as. But the point of making her a minor and choosing to sexualize her repeatedly over and over and over again, putting her in these repeated situations where she can be sexually harassed, looked at, ogled, and she's 17 is a choice that is indicative of anime sexual assault problem. And again,
no one gives a shit what you think. It's a drawing. Stop saying, oh, the age. It doesn't have an age. It's not real.
Just show a statistic.
Yeah.
Does the anime correlate to real life? Are real 17-year-olds getting touched because of Fire Force or any other series?
Also, yes, the male characters are the same age. Like, they just skim over that every time.
People have been ringing the alarm for years. Scholarly articles dating back to the 80s can be found, with people raising the issue of the sexual assault problem so prevalent in the anime and manga group, written by Japanese scholars and scholars in the West. Before I go any further, I do want to make it a point to say, when I was doing my research for this video, I did find a lot of articles from scholars in the West who were raising these kinds of issues, and I do believe that some of them were completely disingenuous. A lot of people referenced the fact that the age of consent in Japan, back in those days, it's much higher now, but back then was only 13 years old. But the reality is that's also the age of consent in, I think, the majority of states in America as well, is also 13 years old. It's something.
You have genuinely no idea what you're talking about. Like, you were just winging it right now.
The whole point of age of consent is for Romeo and Juliet laws. That's literally the only reason why.
Well, I brought this up with people before, because people always do the age of consent thing in Japan. The age of consent in Japan was not 13 until recently. The age of consent in Japan was 16 to 18 across the entire country, except for one tiny little island that literally had nobody living on it, which was the only reason that tiny little island did not have it changed, because no one was there to change it, technically.
No, you see, there was like one old guy there. That was it. You better watch out for that one old guy.
It was literally the entirety of Japan except for one uninhabited island. So they changed the quote-unquote federal law to, I think, 16, so that nowhere could ever lower it. But nowhere had lowered it, and nowhere had shown indication of lowering it.
If anything, people should be talking about how, like, you know, the whole thing because of the whole population crisis. That's actually one of the reasons why nobody lives there, because of the population crisis.
Yeah.
That they had to like merge specific cities together with other cities because no one's living there anymore.
I don't know, that's another thing you have to bring up with Japan. Nobody's having kids in Japan at all. Which means there isn't like this rampant problem of people sleeping with minors or something. Because nobody's sleeping with anybody at all.
Yeah.
People just aren't having sex.
Not only that, but it's like again, it's for like Romeo and Juliet laws. Because if you are still like in your 30s caught with a minor, you're gonna get arrested.
Yeah.
We see these cases all the time. You're still gonna get arrested. Now, do I think they should be harsher with these people? Yes. I've seen even some musicians get off way too lightly. But like, again, you're still gonna get arrested if you're like a normal salary man. Like, Come on, bro. Like, it's gonna be used as blackmail against you if you're caught with a minor still. Like, okay, like, calm down.
Thank you, Internet Zen, for the super. One old guy living there, dear, that's how 99% of the H manga animes start.
something that America likes to hide, but is true nonetheless. So it just felt a bit disingenuous reading people from the West trying to condemn Japan as if America was not doing the same thing, which is why I say when people call it Japan's culture, I mean, it's as much Japan's culture as is America's culture, but we don't see that in the West, in America. So it's not quite the same thing. I just needed to put that disclaimer out there. I hope you guys also do some research, but just be prepared to run into people being a bit disingenuous. Anyway, considering that I myself am not a Japanese woman or even a Japanese scholar or even an Asian scholar, I thought it would be a bit disingenuous to not highlight the work that many Japanese and Asian people have done to highlight this issue. My research revealed that throughout the years, several scholars have produced books, articles, and
Get on with it.
Get on with it, but also, how do these women matter? Because that's always the thing. It's like, well, a scholar said something. Okay, but if a scholar says something and literally no other scholars listen to them, did what they say matter?
Are their articles public? That's another thing.
True. Because like a scholar could say anything. Like, what is it backed up by? What statistics do they have? If they're just running around going, well, sexualization in anime is a problem. Why is it a problem? What, like, show me data. What specifically is it doing that is such a problem?
Also, are they prominent scholars? Are they people that, like,
they respected in the community?
About? Exactly.
Like, we had that one quote-unquote scholar that got exposed when Assassin's Creed came out that was a scholar about Yasuke. Turns out the dude was just making everything up, and nobody had ever thought to call him on it because nobody gave a shit.
Highlighting the very problematic issue that anime has regarding sexual assault, pedophilia, and just overall violence against women and even young boys. And I say young boys because I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge that we're also seeing the sexualization of young boys, high school, middle school characters in some of these animes as well.
I like how she acknowledges that she only brought up it happens to young boys as well because she didn't want to come off as a hypocrite. Thank you for the nice PP, by the way.
It took 7 minutes to do so, by the way.
Yeah. But it's so funny that she admits that, like, yeah, I'm only bringing this up because I'd kind of be a hypocrite if I didn't. So you don't really give a shit, is what you're actually telling me when you say that, is that you don't actually give a shit about the thing you just told me was a problem if it happens to a little boy.
My thing is, she could have easily brought up anything involving Naruto and Sasuke because they're sexualized to like high heaven by like everyone. There's audio dramas of them being shipped together even before Boruto even existed. But like nobody talks about that because it's just funny to point at the Sasuke shippers because nobody cares. It's just jokes and funny fandom stuff.
Thank you, Dragon, for the super. By her logic, this video is also disingenuous because she isn't Japanese, native, or scholar. And true, a little bit.
That being said, if this is a topic that really intrigues you, here are 3 resources that I found really helpful while I was researching for this video that you may also enjoy. The first is a book by John A. Lent. It's called Themes and Issues.
John A. Lent. Very Japanese name. Peak Japaneseu.
I tried looking into the book, but like I couldn't find like a full thing about it, and it was too long. So like maybe I'll like look into it, but I did not have high hopes for this. And even then, I think from like what I did read, because it's been a hot minute since I did read some of it, it's like, yeah.
This was originally published just before the turn of the century in 1999.
Okay.
To buy it new is $60. Themes and issues in Asian cartooning uses overviews and case studies by scholars to discuss Asian animation, humor, magazines, gag cartoons, comic strips, and comic books. The first half of the book looks at the contents and audiences of Malay humor magazines, culture labor in Korean animation, the reception of Aladdin in Islamic Southeast Asia and Singaporean comic books as a reflection of that society's personality. 4 other chapters treat gender and Asian comics, concentrating on Japanese anime and manga and Indian comic books. So part of the problem is you can't just say Asia and then lump all of those countries together. Like, to me, there is such a difference between Japan, Korea, India, and the Islamic community in Southeast Asia. These are not remotely similar groups of people at all.
Well, it was the turn of the century, Mizu. King of the Hill made this joke several times. Something about Laotians.
There's nobody that talks about this book, by the way. Like, there's no reviews, there's no one that says anything about it. It has, like, 1 review on this website, and it's got, like, a 3.5. The review just says psychology and manga, and the person's name is Yanathorn Jirara Tententanukal.
What?
Yeah, that's
You got Yana. I'm sorry. Yanapa.
He has another book that came out in 2012, Southeast Asian Cartoon Art, History, Trends, and Problems. Like, all of his books are Asian comics, Asian pop culture, illustrating Asia, comics and humor, comics art in China, animation in Asia. Like, it's all he talks about.
Well, clearly, he's hopping on a trend before everybody else. He's the pioneer.
John Lent edits the journal Asian Cinema and chairs both the Asian Cinema Studies Society and Asian Popular Culture Group of the Popular Cultures. That is not the fucking name. So, he chairs a group called the Asian Popular Culture Group of the Popular Culture Society. That is the full name of the group.
The Asian.
He, there's no picture of him. This guy, like, doesn't exist anywhere. And all of his books are just Asian media books, but it's never anything like, nobody reads these. Like, literally nobody. This book we're talking about is his most read book, and it's sold like 10 copies and been read by 7 and been rated by like 7 people. This lady is like a single digit group of people that have this book.
It's a psyop.
I can't. Here's a Cambridge thing on it. What is it? Type information. So there is a Cambridge study about the book, and the only part of the Cambridge, I guess it's more like a reply. The only thing that's really available to look at is this anthology's contributions to the woefully gaunt body of literature on Asian cartooning range from brilliant to horrendously awful.
I wonder if that means that it's bad, guys.
Yeah, this is like the only body of work that ever mentions it, is this random Cambridge article. I have no idea how she came across this book or why she's reading this.
In Asian cartooning, which talks about a lot of different things, not just anime and manga. But I do want to highlight this book because it was the first text that I had found that talked about how in the early 90s, a movement filled with feminists, PTA members, housewives, teachers, and other well-meaning and good moral people in Japan that arose in order to ban harmful manga.
So here's the problem. There is zero body of work on this book that analyzes it one way or the other. So you are 100% trusting this guy to just tell the truth.
Yeah. And even then, it's like, okay, when it comes to parents and PTA and banning book, they recently just banned the book about banning books in like Indiana.
Yeah.
So this could like be, they could just ban anything. Like I could understand if this was like because if this is back then, stuff like Go Nagai, people were critical of like Go Nagai because like his stuff was like super gory and super edgy, and it's like, okay,
yeah,
who cares? It's like
I also have to point out that she kind of skims over this, but if you read this actual part she's highlighting, the guy that is describing this movement is not actually the person that's writing this book. John Lent is the person writing the book. The guy who's describing this movement is somebody called Schote, Frederick Schote. So he's relying on a completely different person for his own claim. So we're already at hearsay of hearsay. She has no idea if this is true or not.
Why you read, chat? This is why you read.
Also, this cites another book, Manga and Dreamland Japan. Okay, so the actual title of the book, so he apparently puts the book title wrong. It's Dreamland Japan, Writings of Modern Manga. By Frederick Schote. Oh, there's an internet archive on it. So, let me flip ahead a couple pages because it says whatever happens here is on page 56. Never say we don't do work for you, chat.
I'm pretty sure we're doing a lot more work than this.
Page 56. Is this one 56? That's 57.
Was it Shoujo Tsubaki was one of the very few banned JP works I've ever heard of. That's actually misinformation because I thought it was too. Turns out they wouldn't have been able to ban it. I think it's like banned in like theaters due to how graphic it was for the time. But then they apparently lifted the ban because they were able to make a live action version a couple of decades later.
So here we go. In the city of Tanabe in the Wakayama prefecture, several housewives started a movement in favor of regulating manga that developed into the Association to Protect Children from Comic Books. One of the manga the women found particularly offensive was... it's hard to read that because they put it in italics for some reason. It looks like Ikanai Luna Sensei. Or Watch Out Luna the Teacher. Serialized in a mainstream boys magazine, it was about a beautiful tutor who comes to live in a young boy's house. Its author, God, the author's name is Junko. Its author, Junko, was not a dirty old man, but a young woman. In later interviews, Isako, founder of the children's protection movement, described her reaction to one of the manga paperbacks she came across at the local bookstore in 1999. It had a cute picture on the cover, designed to appeal to children, but inside it was filled with the most blatantly sexual material, the sort of thing that should never be shown to children. Naoko's movement resonated throughout Japan. Crackdowns on sex and violence in manga by the authorities occur at fairly regular intervals in Japan. But this time, a powerful nationwide movement to banish harmful manga emerged. Joined by the Housewives PTAs, Japan's new feminist groups, and politicians, tougher local ordinances against obscene manga material were passed by various prefectures throughout Japan. Arrest of publishers and store owners found to be selling obscene material increased dramatically. Even major publishers were targeted. Up until then, artists had rarely been arrested, and the doujinshi or amateur market had been left largely untouched. But on April 15th, 1991, 45 doujinshi-related publishers, editors, and artists were arrested for possessing obscene material with intent to sell. Extra trash bins emblazoned with the words, Minai, Yomenai, Yomina Sensei, don't look at them, don't read them, don't let anyone read them, were set up throughout Japan in public places for good citizens to toss harmful reading material. I have never heard of this happening. This is ridiculous, though.
Apparently this is a fact, but apparently it didn't work considering that the author is still drawing to this day.
Yes. So what was this one?
Ikenai Luna Sensei. She ended up doing a new series called Ikenai Luna Sensei R.
I would also like to point out that this is the first one we're talking about, and this is actually I guess what you would consider a doujinshi work, about a woman targeting little boys. I'm just saying, we're starting off on your, it's all about the women too, with a book about little boys. Apparently in 2025, they released a new version of this book. That's the Ikenai Luna Sensei R.
Yeah.
I don't know. It lost some of its appeal, I think.
Yeah. I mean, that happens when somebody makes a hit, it then stops being a hit, and then people just go about their lives. That's literally it.
So, chat, this is Luna Sensei. The original title that was in so much trouble back then. By the way, keep in mind how they described this cover. It was cute to appeal to children. She's wearing a negligee, like, very clearly. She's wearing a nightgown.
I mean, I could understand technically for the fact that, like, because you gotta remember, like, a lot of the older people were, like, into stuff like Astro Boy, and then stuff like this started popping up on the market because Astro Boy took off and everybody wanted to be a mangaka. So it's like, they probably were like, this series that has a similar art style to that one show I used to watch as a kid, that one manga I used to read as a kid, well, this one's trying to just be perverted. And nobody cares now. Nobody cares anymore.
Yeah.
Because it didn't work, considering you can find just the lewdest anime billboards in Japan.
So this is what the new Luna Sensei looks like in the re-release. It loses some of that nostalgic look. It's just very generic anime now. I mean, granted back then that was probably very generic anime, but I feel like it loses something. Maybe.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. There's being subtle, and then there's an art to fan service. That's why I keep saying about it. There's an art to fan service, and if you don't understand the art and just do the popular thing, you lose the soul of the fan service.
But yeah, apparently this was a big issue. And the way it was actually fixed was manga companies deciding they were going to self-regulate. They don't actually say what got cracked down on. They just said the initial crackdown was only of the most offensive works. That's all they say. And the thing is, if there was no regulation or oversight at all at the time, there's a good chance that what actually got cracked down on was like some of the most degenerate shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So basically, if it was a hentai, probably that. So basically,
Probably not even just a hentai. It probably had to be like some proper fucked up shit.
Yep.
Internet Zen, thank you for the super. Oh lord, it's the Japanese attempt at the Comics Code Authority. Given the fact the mangaka are raunchier than ever nowadays, I think it's safe to say this movement failed and it caused a huge backlash. Admittedly, this is 50 pages into this book. If I wanted to actually sit down and read through more of this is like a 360-page book. I just don't have time to do it right now. But I think it's important to note that this guy is basing his evidence off of another book that is, in turn, not necessarily supporting him as much as he is making it out to be.
And this movement was so powerful, it led to arrests, it led to shop closures for people who are selling that kind of material.
45 arrests, by the way. Which you got to think, like, it's really not much in the grand scheme of things. If it's genuinely that big of an unregulated problem, only 45 people across the entire country getting arrested is really not much.
Not only that, anybody can get arrested. Where that means they likely were released.
Yeah.
People in Japan have been working to try to contain some of this nastiness that we're seeing, and I don't think they get.
That is actually not what the complaint was about. The complaint was specifically that these basically extreme hentais were in storefronts and easily accessible to children. That was their actual complaints. It was not the existence of the work itself. And
it's
how
probably
the problem.
Also similar. Oh, sorry.
No, you go.
Oh, I would say it was also probably similar to like a recent case where like people found like a bunch of manga and like was a bunch of ecchi manga in just like schools and stuff. And the schools do have like at least their own rules of like, hey, like we don't care, but at the same time, like there are children here. We can have the books. We just can't have these books in these libraries. And it's like that's not really surprising.
Yeah, and somebody in chat says she didn't even do proper research. That's actually what I'm kind of getting from this, right? I don't think she's being malicious. I think she only read this one book. She did not check the book sources, and she just kind of ran with it. So she has no idea what it's actually talking about. She has no idea what situation it's specifically referring to. She just knows a bunch of women PTO members and feminists spoke out against quote-unquote racy manga at one point.
Booba.
Thank you for the booba. But that's about all she actually knows about it.
Enough recognition, and I really appreciated this book for opening my eyes. The second is an article that I'll link below. It's called The Sexual Objectification of Girls in Anime Series.
Oh, I freaking read, I think it was this one or the next one. I read one of these. That one's going to be funny.
This isn't the one you wanted to read later, right? It was a different one.
Yeah, a different one. If you can't find it, that makes sense because I couldn't find it either. I had to go to the link in the description, and then I had to Google where these authors were. Like, where are you?
Why does my Dojin character one never work? That's always the one that messes up. That's unfortunate. So, I actually believe I found it. I did find it. It is this one. So, abstract, the sex sells marketing strategy is still used by anime, a form of entertainment that is becoming more and more popular worldwide. And one of them is fucking jobless reincarnation.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot.
Why is it this one? Oh, brother.
Oh.
Brother. It's Mushoku Tensei.
I think if I remember correctly, they had like one or two Asian authors on this one because I tried to Google all of them, but like I couldn't pin because like there was so little information on it. What is it? There was like so little information on these authors. I couldn't even tell if they were actually Japanese or Asian American. And there is a difference, chat.
No, you can see it here. They're all Indonesian.
Ah.
Yeah, I could tell when I saw her pull it up and I started to see the names. And I was like, Sandra Utugulung, Ini Mariani, and Agus Setaidmen. And then all of these says Universitas Padjadjaran, Indonesia. And the fucking papers about jobless reincarnation. What is this? Due to the main character's vulgarity against girls, this anime series sparked debate among anime viewers for a number of reasons, such as the freedom to work for artists and the fact that sexual objectification done through animation does not damage real girls. Objections to this topic are frequently refuted. The goal of this study is to identify the various ways that girls are sexually objectified in the anime, which could affect viewers' attitudes and actions. A qualitative approach is used through critical discourse analysis by Sarah Mills. Discourse is utilized I can never pronounce that fucking word. I don't know why. My mouth doesn't do it. To dismantle forms of sexual objectification in women in anime series. It is revealed how women are portrayed as sexual objects in anime fan service through the male gaze, through discourse analysis of characters, focalization, fragmentation, and cinema schemata. Findings from this study indicate that there existed instances of sexual objectification of women in the anime, particularly in relation to the love interest of the main male character. This study critically makes us aware that the growth of digital media, which can provide a wide range of content and depict a variety of male and female characters, nevertheless reinforces patriarchal values. So you have nothing, is kind of what I'm gathering from this. Like, you literally have nothing. Except, yeah, we...
God, I'm a Dojin.
Thank you for the Dojin character. It actually worked that time. So yeah, they genuinely have nothing. They think that women are sexualized in it, and that's about all they got. It's like that's the total of their paper.
There's also the fact that it's like, yes, it's patriarchal. Because literally in the world of Mushoku Tensei, you can have multiple wives.
Oh,
That's it.
This paper's asking for DEI. In the light of this anime series, women participation in the digital sphere ought to be promoted in order to change people's perceptions of women.
Okay, so if women just started writing their own harems, that's not really going to change anything. It's not really going to change anything.
How many pages is this? Table of data sequence from jobless reincarnation that contain the objectification notion. Data 1, Rudius commenting on Zenith's breast. Objectification notion, instrumentality, reduction to body. The fuck are you? What are these words?
I think it was. Oh, I remember this. So when I was reading this, if you read the paragraph above, it basically was like, here's what we were going to highlight, and this chart is going to explain that.
So I want to look at this one, right? So data 2, Rudius commenting on Lila's breast. Same thing. So keep in mind, this is the table of data sequence that contain objectification notions. Data 3, Rudius learns to read. And there's no explanation for how that pertains to objectification. So, learning to read objectifies women. Fuck if I know. Like, where we're even going with that. Like, to be quite frank. Rudius evaluating Roxy's body and appearance. Reduction to body. Reduction to appearance. Data 5, Roxy fixing the tree that she breaks. Data 6, Rudius comforting Roxy with eroge quotes. Data 7, neat man masturbating while watching videos. What are you talking about?
You see that one scene? It's the one scene where he's it's the one scene of before he dies.
I would like to point out, chat, that these are studies from actual universities. People are paid to do this. Data 6, Rudy is trying to see Roxy's underwear. Instrumentality, denial of subjectivity, reduction to body. What does that fucking mean, denial of subjectivity? I don't know what any of this means. Like, Roxy healing Paul's horses that injured by lightning. Rodius becomes friends with Sylphate after saving her from the bullies. Instrumentality. Sorry, guys. It's sexist and objectifying to save women. I guess. Fuck, dude. How long does this go on? Okay, this goes on to episode 9. Rudius promises to help Rudred? I don't know. I've never watched the fucking show, to be honest. Look, so data 24, Eris allows Rudius to touch her body, and one of the examples on the side is denial of autonomy. Do you guys know what the word allow means? What it means for a woman to allow a man to touch her? How does that deny autonomy? What crack are you smoking? What is this?
I'm so confused. And I read this.
The findings of this study demonstrate that there is a discourse on the sexual objectification of girls in the text of the Mushoku Tensei anime series is evidenced by the sexual objectification of girls in characters, fragmentation, focalization, schemata, and fan service. Based on Nussbaum and Langton's definition of objectification, 6 forms of objectification were discovered using 25 data that were chosen from 11 episodes of the series. The series exhibits the following forms of objectification: instrumentality, denial of autonomy, fungibility, denial of subjectivity, reduction to body, and reduction to appearance.
Now somebody's saying Rudy is like,
I have no idea. I genuinely have no idea what these people are talking about, and I've been in the thick of it for like some of this stuff. Okay, so this is specifically Feminist Perspectives on Objectification by Martha Nussbaum. One is instrumentality, the treatment of a person as a tool for the objectifier's purposes. 2, denial of autonomy, the treatment of a person as lacking in autonomy and self-determination. 3 is inertness, the treatment of a person as lacking in agency and perhaps in activity. 4 is fungibility, treatment of a person as interchangeable with other objects. Number 5 is viability, the treatment of a person as lacking in boundary integrity. 6 is ownership, the treatment of a person as something that is owned by another, can be bought or sold. And not the last one, we're almost at it. So 7 is denial of subjectivity, the treatment of a person as something whose experiences and feelings need not be taken into account. Number 8 is reduction to body, the treatment of a person as identified with their body or body parts. What? Whatever. Number 9 is reduction to appearance, the treatment of a person primarily in terms of how they look or how they appear to the senses. And number 10 is silencing, the treatment of a person as if they are silent, lacking the capacity to speak. That is the feminist perspective of objectification and what it means to objectify somebody. You have any thoughts, Kendra?
I process none of that.
Fair. Also, Internet Zen, thank you for the super. Ought to be promoted. Laughs and Rumiko Takahashi. She's pretty mild compared to younger female mangaka these days. Talk about an own goal. True. So yeah, this is kind of retarded. How long is this study? Grab it and drag it. It's 18 pages. Obviously, 2 of those are references, so it's 16 pages. I'm not reading this, chat.
Listen, I read it, and I was like, considering that I don't remember most of it, it didn't really leave that much of an impact.
Yeah, no, I don't read this kind of shit. I don't have that level of brain rot.
And it uses Sarah Mill's critical analysis to evaluate Mushoku Tensei, I believe. I've never seen that, but apparently it's trash, so I'm not here to recommend it either. And this was
So you read a study about a show you have never watched, and you just said, yeah, I'll just believe it mindlessly. I don't even need to watch the show.
This is worse because even the people in the article actually watched it.
But
you're not even doing the advice of what the people in the article did. They watched 9 whole episodes, and you couldn't even watch one. And I get it. There's some intense things in Mushoku in the first few seconds. That being said, if you're doing the research, you gotta actually do the research.
So yeah, I've talked about this before, and it wasn't necessarily in reference to anime, but I think it applies to most things. Is a lot of people seem to think research is looking at one source for what you want to say. That is, by default, not research. Research is finding a source on it, and then checking that thing's sources. And then specifically looking for sources that disagree with that source. And then checking the disagreements sources. You're supposed to, you actually have to branch out and look at where all of this information is coming from. You can't just say, I found one thing with information, and I'm just going to run with it. And then say, you're well-read on it. You're not. You haven't looked up a single fucking thing on this. You have no idea what you're talking about.
And that's the whole point of research. If you don't research, you haven't really understood. You're just repeating what everybody else is saying, what some other person is saying. And that's the problem with some of these people that do videos like this. They never have a thought of their own, and they think they do, but you've not really come to your own conclusions. You just found someone who's biased and agrees with you instead of forming your own nuanced opinion. If you would have looked at Mushoku Tensei, you would have immediately been able to form an argument right then and there. I think it's weird that the author made him a pedophile, but guess what? That's a part of the story. That's what's supposed to be there. It's the whole point of isekai, and actually is pretty a counter, supposed to be the counteracting how all these generic isekai protagonists have no reason to be isekai'd and are all generic and boring. And it's did we have to go to the biggest extreme to talk about it? No, but it's there in the material, so you gotta kind of live with it.
So chat asked, and this is that research paper that I was just looking over, if for whatever reason you want to look at it yourself. Internet Zen Master, thank you for the super. Boundary integrity, just call it personal space, you hoity-toity frou-frou schmucks. Feminist academics are insufferable, just fucking... I guess I don't know what JFC means. I thought it was just fucking saying for some reason. Oh, this is Jesus fucking Christ. My bad. I got it. Wait, why did that fuck up at the end? You're gonna have to copy paste that instead of clicking it, because for some reason it doesn't like the comma, I guess. Yeah, it doesn't like the comma for some reason. You're gonna have to copy paste it.
someone's thesis coming out of Indonesia, so a separate part of Asia. But it essentially talks about how animes use the idea that sex sells as an excuse to sexualize these young girls and put these young girls in harm's way.
That is not at all what this study said. You did not read this study, I don't think. I think you read the abstract and you didn't actually check what they were talking about.
I know good and well she did not read these, because the next article coming up next, I had to read it. And I was like, okay, we're talking about this.
Which, when I first saw it, I thought that was a really interesting aspect of looking at things. But then I realized that a lot of times, and she discusses this as well, a lot of times these mangakas who write material like this will hide behind the fact that they're not real girls. They're fake girls. And so the lines can be a bit blurred. But I love the way she tackles the sexual objectification of the children, of the girls in this series. And if you've ever seen the series, you might really enjoy this essay. And it's only like 20 pages. It's not that long.
You haven't seen the series. You don't know if they're right or not. If you've seen the series, you'll really enjoy this essay. How do you know? You haven't watched it. You admitted you've never watched it. You don't know. It annoys me so much. Ooh. Like, the paper you linked is not about the sexualization of young girls. It's specifically about sexual objectification from a feminist perspective. It's so dumb. Oh, I hate it. Yeah.
Article that I found that I think you guys would find really interesting is called Sexual Violence Against Women in Shoujo Manga. And
this freaking article is so garbage, bro. We're going to be reading this after, because this is actually one of the really shorter ones. You can't find this thing online anywhere. It's so terrible. It's terrible. I could spoil it if you want, at least for the ending of it, because I had to look at the statistics and I ended up looking into the manga. It's 14 pages. Oh, okay. Basically, they go on and on about like explain it. This feels like one of those college papers where you phone it in so badly, because like the first, I think if I remember correctly, the first 2 or 3 pages is just them dedicated to explaining why they're doing the paper. And then you go into the chart. Half of the manga they listed ran for like less than 2 or 3 months. And if they did go on longer, they were only around for at least like a year. Because a lot of these series were short series. And it's like, they're like, what? Yes. If I'm correct.
There we go. Apparently my thing got unplugged.
Dang. Well, you gotta repeat it.
So chat, he would have failed this paper because he doesn't have what the second part of the graph is at all. Like, we can guess what it is. It's because it's light blue is light sexual violence, so red is probably like heavy sexual violence or something. Except he doesn't include that in the graph. He forgot to include it in all 3 of his graphs. Also, like, we don't... He says instances of sexual violence.
And instances of other violence.
Yeah. Like... What are you talking about? At all? Like, you have to define it. You can't you can't just say like sexual violence and then you're gonna use it yourself.
My thing is also there's a lot of things wrong with this article.
Yeah, light sexual violence,
you-
light sexual violence, button red.
I think if I remember correctly, the most important page was, what is it? Because it was a specific paragraph. He ended up going on to say, I didn't even really finish all the samples I read. So this went longer than what my project was supposed to be. But I can conclude from the data. And I'm just like, you know what? I think we're done for today.
Yeah, so it's here an anthropological study. The core of this project became the actual study I conducted, although it was only part of the whole methodology that I inevitably used to address the issue of sexual violence in shoujo manga. The study became a focal point for many of my efforts and many of my problems. Anthropology as a discipline, especially within the work of ethnography, often relies on the use of data, survey, and analysis in order to come to a conclusion or to present an issue. Since this project was designed to address the use of sexual violence in shoujo manga, one of my first tasks was to actually show a pattern of sexual violence within the genre. Using a single case would hardly constitute the mass media issue I was suggesting as my hypothesis at the beginning of this project. Although from my experience with the medium, I knew such a pattern existed, without actual data, I wouldn't be able to formulate an effective argument. Thus, one of the first stages of the product was to collect enough data to make my claim. In order to look at sexual violence, I had to first decide what exactly constituted an act of sexual violence within the context of the manga. At the beginning of the project, I began by dividing the issue into one of violence and sexual violence, distinguishing between the two based off the context of the situation. Sexual violence became centered on the male character's intent, often for pleasure rather than violence, which related more to anger or control. In reality, this distinction was complicated, and although I maintained the focus on sexual violence, I ended up not using the data on violence. I will include it within the paper as a comparative point. Like, he's admitting already that he's half-assing it.
Yeah.
He's giving up halfway through.
We can go back to the charts because I actually know some of these things. So, you know why in the charts Hanata Yume, Lala DX, and Shokami have high ratings?
Why?
It's because they're the most popular shoujo magazines.
Fair.
And if you have the most popular shoujo magazines on here, you're going to get a variety of more popular work. Basically, Hanata Yume is like the Shonen Jump of shoujo.
I think another thing to point out, that he very clearly half-assed this stuff, yes. I guess maybe he's including Lala DX together. Is all I could guess. But he has unknown here at the end with nothing on it. He has Ribbon Original here, nothing in it. He has Deluxe ... nothing in it. Then he has down here Sexual Violence and Publisher, Square Enix, nothing in it. Unknown, nothing in it.
My thing is Shogakukan is on here, and with what happened last time, those weren't even shoujo works. They harassed the shoujo authors. And in the series that got exposed for having predators behind them, those series weren't fan service or had sex anyway.
The total sample size was 20 different series, constituting 103 chapters overall and 3,695 pages. Chapter range from between 20 and 50 pages, depending on whether the original source was monthly or weekly, and how long the series had been going. Overall, I counted 61 instances of sexual violence and 46 instances of other violence. This was divided up into 38 cases of light sexual violence, 23 cases of heavy sexual violence. These numbers suggest a high prevalence of light sexual violence, which, although might seem contrary to my hypothesis, mark an important pattern I will note to the conclusion of the study. When looking at the rate of occurrence overall, the data suggest approximately one scene of sexual violence every 61 pages, and one scene of other violence every 80 pages. This rate does not take into account series without any sexual violence. If I remove the series without any scenes of sexual violence, 8 of the 20 series, the rate of sexual violence within shoujo manga that have sexual violence is one scene of sexual violence every 50 pages. This reveals the skew in the data with respect to the series without any scenes of sexual violence, as well as the 20 series surveyed, only 12 had scenes of sexual violence, or 60% of the series surveyed contained sexual violence. Below are the graphs examining the spread of the data and analysis of different variables. This is all heavily retarded.
Was it to answer people's questions? Square Enix does run a manga magazine. That's where Full Metal Alchemist and Black Butler were published. And the funny thing is I actually looked into a lot of these series he had listed. The series that had the highest counts were really, really short series that got canceled. Like, they didn't last long. They're like probably like 2 or 3 volumes for like a lot of them. And that sounds like a lot, but like it's not really. That's like 2 or 3 books.
Yeah, and his chat is saying 1 in 60 pages is kind of nothing. Like, that's a lot of pages of other stuff going on.
This was a quantitative study that was done, and I just want to read that the study then hinted at a pattern of sexual violence in shoujo manga supporting the original hypothesis.
You only read the conclusion. Because if you would have read any other part of this, you would have been like, wow, this guy's a fucking quack who doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah. Heck, you could have even just used Vampire Knight as an example.
60% of the sample had at least one scene of sexual violence, and some series had numerous instances of sexual violence. And this, to me, was so striking because he is specifically looking at shoujo anime, or shoujo manga in this case, which is targeted at young girls, normalizing it for young girls.
No, they're not. You're retarded. Shoujo specifically focuses on instances that they think will relate to young girls. And unfortunately, some of that is sexual violence. That is not saying that you're a little girl, you should be used to this by now. It's specifically saying, no, it's bad, and you're the hero for fighting against it. You're fucking stupid, lady. It's so...
It's like
watching Naruto and saying that little boys should be okay with killing people or something.
It's like if you actually read shoujo, like there's a lot of good shoujo out there that are about like girls fighting, or there maybe they are there like the extreme ones out there like Boys Over Flowers, where it's like, all right, tone it down. She's being a bit too abused author, and it's like, at that point, just turn it off and just go find the shoujo that's better, that appeals to you more. That's it.
These are the kinds of issues that people have done the research to find and to expose and to shed light on. And
notice, by the way, they have not actually brought up like a single Japanese scholar once. We have 3 people from Indonesia, 1 person from, I'm assuming, America, and then another person definitely from America. At no point, we have to bring up Japanese scholars. You didn't bring up a single one.
Yep.
If this is something you care about, I would highly recommend reading at least the articles. The book you might not want to pay for, but at least the articles, I think they're really good. And when I think about the work that these people have done with these books, with these articles, that's what I mean when I say that Gachiakta and the Apothecary Diaries are almost like a culmination of all of that hard work because of how they
didn't do any hard work. It was some like random dude trying to make a bullshit paper for his college thesis, and he still half-assed it. If you would have read it, you would have known that.
There were so many big words in that article, I just tuned them out.
Tackle the issues in what is now mainstream animes and mangas.
By the way, chat, I wanted to like pull those up and show them to you guys, because a lot of people, when they do this stuff, nobody goes to read the studies, and they just kind of take their word for it that's a study and be like, oh, it's a study that exists, I'm just going to disagree with it on its face. No, so a lot of times if you go and read these studies these people provide, they're very clearly bullshit. Like, it's just half-assed nonsense.
One of the things that captivated me the most about the Apothecary Diaries was how the story used themes like consent, storylines involving sex work, and the backdrop of the imperial palace to talk about an issue as heavy and as nuanced as sexual assault. And this is also
Why do you think it's nuanced?
It's not really nuanced. It's
That
there were
genuinely
sex
confuses
workers.
me as a statement.
This is sex workers and brothels in ancient China. It's not like it went away. It's not like it's not going away. So long as sex is available, people are just gonna go do it. Now I understand.
I've
I
never heard
understand.
somebody say deal with a topic that is as nuanced as sexual assault. What do you know what nuance means? Have you Googled the word? It's kind of, there's not really a nuance to it. I'm genuinely confused. I guess we're gonna have to see what she means by that.
It led me to put out my 3-part series on consent as a theme in the Apothecary Diaries. If you have not already seen it, I would strongly suggest you go check it out. I think it's some of my best work as an academic otaku, if I must say so myself. Okay.
Says the person who's quoting studies for anime they've not even watched.
I'm not saying anything. I just can't say anything.
And they're linked below, so you could check that out too. But let's move on. No, in all seriousness, one thing that I explored in that 3-part series is I think that it's very easy for people to jump on Jinshi and Mao Mao's relationship because it's easy to be digested. But I have seen hundreds, if not thousands at this point, of people mischaracterize and totally misunderstand Lady Anshi's character.
Really quick, thank you, Internet Zen. I'm nodding off to sleep, and then I heard nuanced his essay. That woke me all the way back up. What the hell is she on about? Also, let me pull this up. Because somebody said that was her only work prior, plus her only work prior to this. This is her whole channel. She only talks about Apothecary Diaries.
Apothecary Diaries is the new thing to talk about.
But yeah, she says it's my greatest work as an academic otaku. It's literally her only other videos. I guess she has shorts? No, the shorts also only go back to that. She literally just talks, also new videos every week. I would never be dumb enough to put this on my channel because I know I would never be committed to that. New videos every week, 4 weeks ago, 1 month ago, 7 months ago. This is some, like, proper clickbait, I think. Just to get, like, attention on the channel. Is this her only video that popped off? It is. Yeah, no, they immediately left for the next one.
Anime has...
What do people actually think about it? Not censoring the words... Dingy's my favorite example of a male victim in anime.
Oh, the Chainsaw Man thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like a subsect of Chainsaw Man fans that like, and again, you can look into it like that. But the problem is that these people will always do the whole moral superiority thing of my media is better because your media is gooner material, and clearly Chainsaw Man is much more nuanced than you're making it out. And from all what I've read is this is partially a really deep story, and the other part is a barely disguised fetish. Like, there's literally 2 or 3 chapters where Fujimoto just depicted like just a lesbian polycule.
Thank you, Wolfsbane, for the super. Literally did that with Athena and Smite for a college literature paper. I half-assed it last minute, and since my professor was a massive feminist, I got an A. Fair. Look, if you need to bullshit it to get through college, do it. I'm not faulting you for bullshitting it to get through college. I'm faulting people for taking your clearly bullshit paper and then shoving it in my face as if it's like Einstein levels of theory. You know? Like, no, it's somebody's like bullshit college paper. Stop it.
and her role within the story. If you have not seen the Apothecary Diaries, or if you've seen it and you're just struggling to understand some beats, I'm going to give you a quick synopsis. Lady Anshi is the mother of the current emperor, and she is only 10 years older than him. And the reason why she's only 10 years older than him is because the former emperor was a pedophile. This is very important because the story goes out of its way to tell us that the only thing we really need to know about the former emperor is that he is a pedophile. Nothing else about him matters as much as the fact that he is a pedophile. This is important. So at 10 years old, the former emperor chooses Lady Anshi to be his next victim. She gets pregnant. She has what is now the current emperor in the story's timeline. I think it's 10 or 15 years later. I think she's 20 or 25. She sees that he is still going out and he's still doing this to these girls. He's still terrorizing these girls. He is still traumatizing these girls. For her, she sees all that, but then she also feels discarded. You used me and now you just don't even want to look at me. This makes her very angry. But at this point in the story, she's the empress. They're legally married. And so now she's 25 and she goes into the bedroom and she rapes him back. It is such a traumatic experience for him that his mind snaps and he has to be isolated away from all people, including the little girls that he was tormenting and traumatizing. And don't get me wrong, I have a blanket opinion that rape is never okay. That being said, when she did what she did, she put an end to his reign of terror, to his legacy of pedophilia and child grooming, and she saved hundreds of little girls from fates worse than death.
I do not think you understood this story.
So I actually looked into this because I actually plan on eventually picking up Apothecary Diaries too, because there were a bunch of shorts going around. What happened was that the emperor, it is heavily implied that the reason why he is like this is, yes, he is a pedophile, but it's hinted that it was either his mother or his grandmother who likely forced themselves on him. He ended up developing a trauma where he can only be around young girls. But of course, that is still like, you're still freaky, bro. And one of the reasons also why he didn't want to touch his wife anymore, is now an adult, is because even at a young age, he described her as having ambitious eyes like his mother. And he didn't want to be around someone like his mother, who, again, is implied to have assaulted him. And of course, she ended up doing what he's doing. He ends up breaking. And the whole point about that is that it was supposed to be about the cycle of violence. That's literally what the entire portion of that is supposed to be. So to just boil it down to, clearly she stopped him. And it's not okay, but she stopped him. And that's what matters. It's like, no, it's supposed to be about the cycle of violence. That's literally it. It's not that hard.
Exactly. Thank you, Crazy Koala Man just joined. I already hate this video. You've missed the academic portion of the video. Now we're just realizing that she doesn't actually know about the anime she supposedly loves so much. And then Wolfsbane, P.S. before she gave me C's and D's for challenging her. Well, that sucks.
People label Lady Anshi as the aggressor. I've seen people, hand to God, say that she wanted to be raped at 10, that she orchestrated it at 10, because in her own musings, she described her 10-year-old self as ambitious. And I think it's so asinine to do that for a lot of reasons, but the first one that really comes to mind is you can go outside and throw a stone and hit a 10-year-old girl that wants to be a princess. I wanted to be a princess at 10, but if you would have explained to me that I would have to let an old man touch my private parts in order to do that, I would have reconsidered. So people trying to victim blame.
The reason why it is different from back then, and of course it isn't right, but it was different back then, was because people were poor. If you were poor and you're on the streets, you're going to do anything to get off the streets and stop being poor because you're hungry and you're cold and you're alone, let alone a child having to be put into that type of situation.
I would also like to point out that this is literally what the story is saying. And she's like, well, no, it's dumb to agree with what the story is telling you because I think it's icky. Well, no, it's actually what the story is saying. I think maybe you don't like this as much as you think you do.
No, not only that, like Mao Mao literally, not like part of it is actively like making herself ugly, and part of it is also because of poison testing. Freaking, I haven't even watched Apothecary Diaries, and I'm just going off of mostly fun facts I've seen in YouTube shorts. She literally purposely makes herself ugly because she doesn't want to be kidnapped. That's literally it. And
Yeah.
guess what? She enjoys her life like that.
Internet Zen Hoodweebs missing the point of animes. Name a more iconic duo. Yeah.
Lady Anshi, I think, again, is part of anime's sexual assault problem. It consistently downplays the act of sexual assault and the aftermath of sexual assault.
I thought you said this was the culmination of all the hard work against that. What?
My thing is, if you have seen comments about this, why are you not showing them?
Exactly, yeah.
Walk with me here. This is a reflection of rape culture as illustrated by anime. A man assaulting a woman is normalized, but a woman assaulting a man is striking. It's jarring. It wars against the ideologies of rape culture that we, as women in the 21st century, have been indoctrinated into.
I would like to point out, and I always hate when people do this shit about like, oh, you know, if a man assaults a woman, it's kind of normal. Anytime, like there is a actual popular case where somebody's child was assaulted by a man, and the father on camera in front of like hundreds of people rolled straight up and shot the guy in the head. And they still struggled to find a single person that would convict him. He was caught dead to rights killing this pedophile from like 20 different angles, and they were still struggled to find anybody that would say, yes, he shot that man. So whenever you get up here and you're like, oh, it's so normalized, you know, it's just like everybody's just so cool with it. No, they're not. It is literally the most absolute hated thing you can do in the world, to the point that even the most disgusting prisoners will take bets on who gets to kill you when you get to prison. Like, I don't understand why people make this argument. It's so blatantly stupid. Who do you think you're fooling? Like, I genuinely don't understand why they say this.
Because they don't look into men's struggles. I'm not even someone who really does the whole men's struggles thing, but like, if you can, the people are just trying to live their life. They're not going to focus on your own struggles. And if you're doing something like academia on this, and you like barely look into, because again, you just only looked at what you wanted to see with this series, because there's a nuance in this series. You're just picking and choosing the nuance without actually addressing the nuance.
Yeah.
How did you miss an entire message, a really simple message that something like Kids Next Door or like Courage the Cowardly Dog covered about the cycle of violence?
Yeah.
That is so basic.
Or like, I don't think you understand, like back in the day, all a woman had to do was tell her family that a guy raped her. That guy would just disappear and nobody would question it. It didn't have to go through court or anything. Like this is like obviously further back in the day. That guy would just be gone and nobody would ever question it. They'd be like, yeah, you know, there were allegations that he did something to a girl at one of the families, and you know, we don't really care where he went. Like, that's just how it happened. And then you're like, you know, it's so normalized. It's just everybody's just okay with doing this to women. Fucking who? What?
It's like, oh, well, the people online can literally say anything. I could say your mom and people would clap for that.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna do that in real life. It's like, nobody's gonna do that in real life.
I'm not going to describe what it is, but I was also told that at least out in Georgia, they would do a thing called swizzle sticking. And any guy that knows what a swizzle stick is can probably use their imagination.
Oh my god.
It makes us believe that since she forces herself back on him 10, 15 years later, she's no longer the perfect victim. And if she's no longer the perfect victim, then she must be the aggressor. And
you can be both. This is something that people seem to struggle a lot with. Being a victim does not preclude you from being a victimizer later in your life. Thank you for the nice PP. Horrible time to do it, but thank you for it. But it's always this thing like, oh, like, she can't be an aggressor like now in the day. Back in the day, like, she was a victim. Okay, well, yeah, but now she's doing it to other people, so, you know. It kind of doesn't matter.
really do try to give the women in my comments who say stuff like this that 10-year-old lady Anchi was the orchestrator of her own sexual assault. I really do try.
Nobody says this.
First off, if you're finding quote unquote women saying this, it's 13-year-olds. It's 13-year-olds who can't even pay bills. Of course they're not going to understand the nuance. They're 13. I didn't understand the nuance of age gaps until I got older. That's it. That's it.
I like how she's sitting here going all like, you know, the people in my comments, nobody's in your comments. Nobody watches your videos. I'm not trying to like hurt your feelings because nobody watches my videos either. People like to join in on my streams to make fun of people like you. But you don't have like this mass following that you have this wide sample size of. You have like a couple random people on your videos and every single one of them agrees with you. Because the only people searching for videos that are titled like this are people who are going to agree with it. People like me who hate it will only watch it for like pain and engagement.
He doesn't know what the viewers want.
Thank you, Mr. Monkey, for the super. He says, hurt people is a saying for a reason.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Try to give them grace. I really do. Because I understand how indoctrination messes with your mind. But the apothecary...
No, you don't. You're such a psychopath. I understand how indoctrination messes with your mind. The only reason you disagree with me is because, like, you're indoctrinated. You just don't get it. You're a dumb woman. I mean, wait, what? I didn't mean to say it that way.
Matrix. The Matrix, guys. We're in the Matrix.
You didn't take the blue pill.
Apothecary Diaries has such a direct and explicit stance on abusers and what is and isn't sexual assault. It has a stance on who is the aggressor and who is the victim, on what you should think of the aggressors, and maybe not so much what you should think of the victims, but absolutely what you should think of the aggressors. And more specifically, through Lady Anchi, it shows us its stance on if the victim has a right to revenge, and it is a clear and astounding yes, they do. And I think that Lady Anchi as a character is so revolutionary and yet still being so badly mischaracterized and misunderstood in the year of our Lord 2026. But I can't imagine.
I think you're the one that doesn't understand her character.
Yeah.
Like, you are so desperate for this anime to mean something to you and what you want it to mean that you have deluded yourself into thinking that it's telling a completely different story.
Or you just ignored most of it.
Also possible.
Imagine a time in history where her actions would have been better received. And so I love that.
Never. What?
What?
I'm trying to think of a time in history where, you know, her raping people would be better received. Fucking what? You don't understand how serious of a thing this is. Like, you genuinely don't get it. Better received. What are you, Genghis Khan?
I'm so confused. Like, even though it wouldn't have been received back then, it's barely received now.
Yeah. It's just crazy people like you who are like, yeah, go rape him. Like, what?
Oh, no, take back your autonomy.
She is included in there, and I love that the Apothecary Diaries in both the anime, the novel, and the manga show us exactly what it thinks a victim's right to revenge, to avengement, is in those cases.
You are a very disturbed person. That's the only thing I can say about that, I think.
And truly, whether people have the critical thinking skills to comprehend what Lady Anchi's role is in this story about consent isn't the point. The point is that she's still a symbol. And
I was joking when I said the "you're a stupid woman, you don't get it" thing. She literally just pulled, women don't have the critical thinking skills to understand this. Fucking what?
I think this really all did come from a dream.
It came to me in a dream. I have to go back because people need to hear that she actually did say women are too dumb to understand it.
Us exactly what it thinks a victim's right to revenge, to avengement, is in those cases. And truly, whether people have the critical thinking skills to comprehend what Lady Anchi's role is.
Okay, fair enough that she said people. So, just in general, she thinks people are too dumb to understand it.
I understand that she's saying people. But you gotta remember that most of Apothecary Diaries
is watched by women.
Is women. And specifically older women, too. Because it has that kind of like Chinese drama type thing to it. So she is technically saying women.
Also, yes, she is saying that people have a right to revenge. Which is... it's horrendous for like our entire system. That would just cause like such a problem. There's so many stories about why, like, literally every religion in the world, except save for a couple, all also have this same view that you can't do an eye for an eye because then the whole world is blind.
Yeah. Like, listen, I want to get revenge too sometimes, but you kind of just gotta move forward and just do better than them.
Exactly. Thank you, Internet Zen. I swear I'm trying to sleep and this woman keeps saying shit that makes my eyes bulge out of my head in shock. In no universe would her actions be acceptable. Exactly.
Is in this story about consent isn't the point. Point is that she's still a symbol and she does her job so efficiently, and Natsuhyuga has crafted her to be an excellent tool to really highlight her stance.
Ignoring that the character is not a tool and you're delusional in coping. You just said that everybody misunderstands the point of this character. By definition, her story can't be done expertly if nobody gets it. That's something I think a lot of these quote-unquote academic types fail to understand, is that by their own definition, a story cannot be expertly crafted if the average person doesn't understand it.
My thing is, like, we just got through, like, the whole thing with last week with, like, Utana. And that's an actual director where if you're not actually paying attention, and even then you said, like, oh, yeah, I was able to get this, like, some of this immediately. Like, his stuff is wacky enough where if you miss it, like, oh, that kind of was confusing. Let me rewatch it to see. Apothecary Diaries is, like, pretty straightforward. Yeah. It's like, she assaulted him because he assaulted her. There was nuanced reasons for it that the story explained. This is why it was bad, and this is why both of them are crazy. That's it. That's the plot.
Yeah. Thank you, Monkey, for the super. To be clear, if the story she was covering was historically accurate, she would be Spanish Inquisition levels of giving a confession.
On sexual assault and victims' rights. As I said before, far too often in anime and manga, issues of sexual assault or depictions of sexual assault are swept under the rug. Or worse, they're made light of.
Because you have expanded the definition of sexual assault to mean literally everything. Like, you have expanded it so fucking far to the point a girl in a swimsuit, based on the definition you gave us, would be considered sexual assault. Not doing anything to her, her just existing. Like, it's this muddying of terms that is inherently, like, disingenuous and causes so many problems. Also, Tola, thank you for the super. Eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind as stupid. Eye for an eye is not about revenge, it's about restraint. It's saying you have to stop at just the eye instead of killing you. No, eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind is supposed to mean that if you hurt me and take my eye, and I hurt you back and take your eye, there's somebody out there that cares about you. And they're going to come take my other eye, because by hurting you, I have hurt them. And it's about the cycle of kind of hatred and revenge. Because by taking someone from someone else, you have, whether rightfully or wrongfully, now victimized a third party. And that will go on forever until there's just no people left to care.
Yeah.
Realized. And so it's refreshing, I think, to see the Apothecary Diaries be so direct on how it feels regarding sexual assault and victims' rights to revenges. Which brings us to Amo.
God.
And truly, I've said it before and I'll say it again, I think Amo's backstory in Gachiakta is maybe the most poignant.
She has said the anime name 3 different ways at this point. She cannot stick with a single pronunciation.
Well, at least she's
modern mainstream anime regarding trafficking, sexual violence, pedophilia, grooming, rape, sexual assault, and sexual harassment. Full stop. If you've never seen the show, stop what you look, pause this. I'll be here later. Pause this and go watch the first 12 episodes. You don't even got to get that far. Just watch the first 12 episodes of Gachiakta and then come back so you can see it for yourself, okay? No, in all seriousness, I'll give you guys a quick recap of
That's a very American view of TV, actually. That 12 episodes is kind of short. When 12 episodes is like a season. That's a one-shot. I know what people think it's supposed to mean. I'm saying they're wrong. Eye for an eye came from a time where blood feuds and revenge killings were common. People forgot that code of Hammurabi. Except that's what I'm saying, though. Like, blood feuds and revenge killing. Eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. If you don't show restraint in it, there will always be another person to be mad at you. Because there are other people involved in that person's life.
That's pretty much, what is it? That's pretty much what, like, exactly what you said. The thing is, Toa, is like, it's supposed to like simplify it, because if we go into like all the oddly specific things about it, that's just kind of ruining the point. It's an eye for an eye. And even that it's simple, it gets the point across, and it's like, that's it.
Yeah.
Explaining this so weird.
Of her story. If you haven't seen it, or if you just need a quick refresher, essentially Amo is a young lady. I think she's 20. She lives all alone in this isolated tower in the middle of nowhere. And we meet her, and she's kind of quirky, I would describe her as. She's the bad guy when we first meet her, right? She's going against our protagonist. And shortly after they defeat her, we get her backstory. Now, I think her backstory is stunning in the visualization, because Gachiakta has a very edgy, very cool, very modern, very cyberpunk type art style, and when it switches into her backstory, it switches into more of like the crayon like doodles of a child, which already puts you in the mindset that, okay, we're about to hear about someone's trauma, because why are we getting her backstory from the viewpoint of a child? And we learned that it's because when she was young, maybe she's 5 or 6 in that clip, she was trafficked by her mom. We're not sure.
Yeah, I don't really know what she means by cyberpunk. I wouldn't call it cyberpunk.
I can kind of see what she's getting at art style wise, but it's definitely more like, it's definitely just like more gritty, more like, I would say, like, again, because she worked with the Soul Eater author, it's more punk than I would say cyber.
Yeah. I don't know, it's very, like, I would have just described it as trash, right? It's very trashy looking. Very, like, thrown together kind of look. Yeah, grunge is maybe a good word for it. Kind of grunge. But cyberpunk?
I would describe it also as post-apocalyptic. Yeah.
You could do that, yeah.
He starts raping her, but he does, and that goes on for years and years and years and years until the guy has like these very special boots. And some people come, I don't want to ruin the whole story, but like, let's say some people come and are like, hey, those boots, they would look much better on you. And she puts that into her mind. She asks for the boots. He doesn't want to give them to her. Long story short, he like kind of falls out of the window in their tug of war trying to get the boots and dies. And she starts wearing the boots with the outfit she has on. The outfit she has on is, I guess you could classify it as revealing, but also if you're
You could classify it as revealing? Would you would you like to take another swing at that one?
Let's see, we got lace up legs, just bare panties, and the cleavest of cleavages.
This is what I meant, or what me and Kendra meant really early on, when we were like, oh, they just say like theirs is different because it is different. They don't really have like a reason for it. That's how we end up with this, and it's like you could call it revealing. It's revealing. It is revealing. Why are we dancing around it?
What's more revealing than just that's just her underwear just showing?
Yeah, she just walks around in panties.
Paying attention to the timeline of the cartoon drawings, she's had that same outfit on since she was 6. This is important. We're going to circle back to it later. I think more.
So she's saying, well, it's justified because she's been wearing it since she was 6, and we'll loop back to that later. This is the same thing that you chastise people any other time they do it. Where they're like, well, the author came up with an excuse for it. And you're like, well, the author having an excuse doesn't mean it's good. This is the same thing. This is the author has an excuse for her to walk around in her panties all the time. And it's for, like, a story reason. That doesn't mean it's not still an excuse for her to walk around in her panties. They could have done the same thing, like if she's wearing an outfit that resembles her childhood outfit. She doesn't have to wear the exact same outfit. And I'm not saying it should change. I like how it is. I'm just saying that if this was anything you didn't like, you wouldn't be making excuses for it. You'd be constantly talking about, like, she could have changed it at any time, and she just chose not to. What's wrong with her?
So was it Don Hato said that the mangaka hasn't revealed her age? So what you're saying is that you're just making stuff up, and the moment that Amo is revealed in her age, that's going to be a very unfortunate conversation Gachi Yakuta fans will have among themselves.
Oh, you know, she's probably like 16, 15 still. I highly doubt she's like extremely old in her 20s.
Yeah.
More than her backstory, I think her outfit choice is so beautifully jarring because initially, before we get to the backstory, it looks like she's just an over-sexualized character. She's quite literally busting out of her clothes. But then we get her backstory, right? And it's revealed that this was the only thing her captor ever let her have, ever let her wear, right? He was arguing with her about some shoes. Mind you, he's never given her shoes before, right? So she's grown up 10, 15 years in the dress that she's had since she was 6 years old. And it's another example.
Can you pause this? So number one, that's not what happened. Literally in the manga, it says, yeah, no, he gave her other clothes. It's just that she always loved this because it was the last thing her mother gave to her before she was trafficked.
Yeah. She's kind of just winging it.
Please, this is why you double check things.
Needed one more, but it is another example of the cruelty of her captor. Also, when we think about the sexual assault problem in anime, Amo's choice of dress highlights an issue that women everywhere, not just in women in anime, but women everywhere have been facing, and it's highlighted within her conversation with Engine. So Amo is trying to figure out, what is y'all here for? Because they done ran down on her in her home, okay? She's like, what's going on? Y'all trying to be friends? Like, what's tea?
I can't, Kendra. I'm going to say something racist.
Withhold yourself. Withhold yourself, gentlemen.
Because
we
have all this proper speech the entire time. Like, completely analytical, like, proper essay speech. And then suddenly go to, hey, y'all, what are y'all doing? Where you going at? Like, what the... I can't.
This is why you have to actually structure your videos well, guys. If you do video essays, you actually have to, because in a normal video, that would have been used as a bit.
Oh,
This is a bit. But the problem is that because of how she structured her video, and because it is basically reiterating on the same points over and over and over again, this looks like a bit and comes off like so much of a tone deaf bit.
Oh, I can't chat. I'm gonna get in trouble. I'm gonna hold it in.
Don't
We'll see
worry,
if we can get past this part.
Don't worry, guys. Don't worry. We're gonna get canceled in 10 years or something anyway, so it's okay.
Engine, one of the main characters, says, you have to put some clothes on because I can't think when your chest is out. And Amo says something that I hope goes down in feminist history as one of the most iconic lines of all times. She says, so it's Amo's fault that you like Amo's outfit too much? This line is so...
She's literally walking around in her panties. I'm gonna shove my bulge in your face wearing a fucking one of those German Speedos, and you're gonna have to talk to me while I just shove my bulge in your face the whole time. And if your eyes ever for a moment wander down to it, your entire argument's shot.
Not only that, but those were clearly ogling fan service shots, but because they're not the glaring ones you see in most ecchi series, it's different.
Yeah.
I like my fan service for more nuanced reasons than you do.
Like, I hope it goes down in feminist history. She's walking around in her panties. Shut the fuck up.
Important because on a larger scale, I think it addresses the over-sexualization of women just existing. She's not wearing that outfit with the intention of seduction. Again,
but she's still mostly naked. That's the part you're like skipping over.
It's like, I could understand if this was like one of the other characters that were more covered and the character just said it that same line offhandedly, and it's like, listen, shut up, bro, this is what I'm wearing. But this is literally just a girl in like basically in lingerie, in stylized lingerie. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
And it is
like you can't convince me like someone would probably do that as like a Patreon cosplay.
Exactly.
Like it would be tasteless due to the character's backstory, but if the person wanted to do a cosplay of it, they would.
Yeah.
Literally the only thing that her captor of 15 years has ever allowed her to own, to have, to wear. And the fact that he's gone and she's still wearing it, I think is a textbook example of a symptom of trauma. But more than that, I absolutely love that she poses this question because again, it interrogates a narrative that has been too long allowed to thrive in anime.
In the original Japanese, she doesn't pose it as a question, but as a judgment. She says men who concern themselves with what women are wearing are the worst kind. I'd have to read the original Japanese to double check it. I will say, if true, that's actually a little cringe and gay because there's no reason Amo would like think of it that way, right? It kind of...
It sounds like what her captor would have said offhandedly, and she just internalized that.
Yeah, I think about the localization line for Toru, where she talks about the patriarchal societal standards, and it's like ignoring that that's a cringe line already. Her character would just not say that. It's not something she would know about. It's not something she'd concern herself with. We're
talking about a character that was like trafficked at 6. She wouldn't know anything like this. Yeah, again, her captor would have likely said it.
Yeah, like she's trafficked at 6. She's been nothing but basically like his sex slave all these years. Where does she pick up this particular like moral judgment from? I would have to, if that is in the actual Japanese, I'd have to disagree with the writer. That kind of comes off as really retarded.
Yeah.
And that's the idea that because an outfit is drawn to be revealing, you are supposed to look. That what she's wearing somehow warrants sexual harassment. And we can go back to Yaoyorozu. We can go back to Tamaki. We can examine Nezuko from Demon Slayer. We can unpack
oh my gosh. I hate when people... I had to actually go find this scene for Nezuko and Demon Slayer. And when I found it, I literally was like, that's it. Like, I could at least understand the arguments for Momo. I can understand the arguments for Tamaki. The literal reason why people are offended by this, like you don't even see like the boobs bust out. It's literally she has boobs now. It literally cuts to after the boobs are made. I'm just like, y'all literally are like screaming over nothing.
Basically.
It's not even good fan service to begin with. If you're actually going to complain about a fan service series, complain about like a real fan service series. At least the people who complain about gushing over magical girls actually complain about real things that happen in the series.
So I was going to mention this later, but chat's already kind of mentioning it, is this goes against everything she's actually said about these characters throughout the video. And it's something that is starting to confuse me. And I think her script might be partially AI written. Because first off, ignoring the fact that we've heard that she naturally speaks in Ebonics when she talks more normally, there's a lot of random parts in the video where she'll say something and then immediately disagree with herself 2 seconds later. Like, it's almost like she forgot what she had just said. I think, to a degree, she is using ChatGPT to, like, write the script.
This is why you shouldn't use ChatGPT scripts.
Every character in Food Wars, the issue of sex.
Why Food Wars?
We are not bringing up Food Wars. We are not bringing up freaking Food Wars. We haven't brought up Food Wars the entire time. And suddenly, about the sexualization in Food Wars, despite the fact that everyone is sexualized equally in Food Wars, that thing is both genders.
Sexual assault in anime is not Amo's issue alone. And unfortunately, Amo's trauma is not even unique to Amo. But the voices of the people who have been speaking out against this have been systematically drowned out.
That's actually another thing that could be like an AI tell. So AI, when it talks about a character, it will repeatedly use their name. It will never use like a basic noun for them. It'll never use like he or she. It'll just always repeat their name. And in her script, whenever she refers to a character, even if it's in the same sentence, she will say the character's name every time. Like how she says just now, Amo's sexualization is not just a problem for Amo. You would say for her, you wouldn't say for Amo again. I'm donating despite this torture you are subjecting us to. Have you guys happened to audit Chibi reviews? He's the only Anituber I watch because he's normal. I've said this before. We only want to watch videos that are particularly bad. If the video is good, I would rather just post it like in Discord and be like, hey guys, this video is good. You should go watch it. I feel bad watching good videos because I feel like I'm taking attention away from it.
Yeah. Plus, at that point, like for me also, I wouldn't have anything really to say for good videos because when I see a good video, I dial in.
Yeah.
Even when I watch stuff like this, I'm dialed in like 100% and I just don't really commentate that much. But I try to anyway with Mizu's help. Stuff like that. Like just go watch it and like form your own opinion because that's pretty much why these Anituber audits exist, because most of these people think they're making an opinion for themselves and they're literally not. They're just relying on research papers without reading them and just saying the popular opinion within their own group to sound cool. And that's like the worst part because it means you have nothing to say.
Yeah.
But in the year of our Lord 2026, we must make the decision to fight back. I'm not done yet, but if you've made it this far, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and share this video with somebody you know who loves anime but hates the way depictions of sexual assault are handled in these animes. Let's get a conversation going. All right, let's recap. Anime's issue with sexual assault.
Okay, so we're pretty much towards the end of it.
Yeah.
What did you think, Kendra?
I think this video was bad for several reasons because the moment she said like it was likely AI, it's like that explains the lack of. They could have brought up any series. They could have brought up like if this was a good video essay, this could have brought up like so many other fan service series that people probably would have had issues with or that end up like floating around the anime sphere for after a while. Like Gushing Over Magical Girls, Girls Bravo, that's an older one. Love Hina. You could have brought up like a ton of anime throughout the years, and over sexualization in anime because it actually shows that it's research. You couldn't even read your own sources about, especially shoujo, the shoujo paper, where it's just a guy who's like, well, I read a bunch of shoujo to see the sexual violence, but I didn't even finish it, and my conclusion is it just looks bad. It just makes you look bad. It makes you look, quote unquote, uneducated. It just looks terrible. And the only people that would really eat up this type of video are people that want to look for that bias in the first place. It's so bad for like numerous reasons.
Yeah. And it, like, even part through the paper, he's like, well, I didn't really do like a bunch of research. I just kind of winged it. Like, you didn't read that part and be like, maybe I shouldn't use this as like the basis for my whole fucking thing.
This was supposed to be for a college. I know good and well that teacher gave that brother an F.
Yeah, he didn't even do his charts right. He forgot to include the other like scale. And then like he would include places that he just said had 0. But he didn't list, like, what work he took from them. Like, Squeenix was on there with 0 works mentioned. You can't just say Squeenix 0. You have to say what work you looked through and how much of it you looked through. Or it doesn't work.
You dying back there?
I just dropped something. And thank you, Sapphire, for the other super. It says, yeah, I didn't have enough character space to add, although given he's normal, you probably haven't. That's fine. I got what you meant. Tourists, at the end of the day, they treat fiction too seriously.
Yeah.
Oh, chat, we don't talk about prison school.
Listen, with that ending, there's a reason why the author has been collectively disowned.
Oh, I'm talking about the localization.
Oh. Well, I'm talking about the ending of prison school because everyone collectively was like, that's it? That's how you're going to end it? And then everybody just decided to forget about him.
Well, people who watched it in dub hated it to start with because it's one of the only anime to name drop Gamergate.
Oh, I remember that. Okay, yeah.
What are you? One of those Gamergate weirdos?
First off, I don't think Japan knows about Gamergate.
They don't.
And number 2, are we really going to name drop Gamergate in this anime? Are we really going to try and stand up for this anime about the women's rights and women in gaming?
Yeah,
the show with a canonical pee fetish?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, look, Icon Club.
People always bring up specifically Dragon Maid and Prison School when they talk about dubs and localization, because Gamergate creep shows and patriarchal societal standards are 2 lines that are so horrendous. It's impossible to read them any other way than malicious tampering.
Yeah.
Something similar with To Love Ru dub. Here's the problem. I don't watch dubs. Ever. I hate dubs. I always watch subs. So whenever, I don't hear about a lot of the dub backlash a lot of the time until it gets big. Because I just don't watch them.
And I usually have never seen the series that usually had these tamperings because I'm someone who collectively says that I think dubs past 2016, or at least specifically mostly COVID dubs, dubs post-COVID are really bad, with a few exceptions like Freerun.
Exactly, yeah. I don't know, I'm still kind of iffy with Freerun, specifically because of the voice actress for Freerun.
I was kind of the same way, but you kind of get used to it. At least for me, I kind of appreciate both actresses because they actually both put in the effort, like the original and the dub voice.
I'm not saying she doesn't put in the effort. However, I still think it's bad casting because it just doesn't fit some of Freerun's like behavior. Because they went really hard on Freerun as like this monotone mommy for the dub. In reality, she's kind of to a degree a petulant child.
I mean, after that one scene.
Yeah. Not just that one scene, but just in how she acts a lot of the time. Like, yeah, she is like pretty wise, and she's not like an idiot or anything. She's pretty experienced, but she doesn't really care what anybody else is doing, and she marches to the beat of her own drum all the time. And she doesn't even tell anybody when she's gonna do something crazy. She just goes and does it, and then expects them to go along with it because she's just right. Monotone mommy is a wild statement. That's specifically how they portray her in the dub. They portray her as like a monotone mom character, when in the original Japanese, she's supposed to be a little bit of a petulant child.
I think it's like because like people have pointed out like Frieren in elf years would technically be like around like would basically be a teenager. And so the thing is that in the dub they gave her like this voice that sounds more like what you would expect from like say an elf in Game of Thrones, or like when basically a voice of like a character in a Game of Thrones type series. And it works for like Game of Thrones type series, but it's like, why specifically did you give her this voice and not like the usual like, you know, just anime voice? But that's a whole other discussion that's gonna get me in trouble.
Frieren's a minor.
In elf years.
Chat, she's actually a 10,000-year-old lolly dragon.
Was it? I think someone into the to love root to the to lover dub had Rito's little sister go from saying that's old fashioned to having her say that's misogynistic and the most blatant in the most blatant 40-year-old harpy voice. Okay, first off, I don't understand why people do that whole that's misogynistic or that's blah 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 in these fan service series. Like, this is like the last series you want to be like a bastion of feminism, is all I'm saying. But you know what they always do. They only do it in those types of series because they're trashy enough for people to not care. Because if you did it in something like Dragon Ball, everybody would look at you crazy. Like, Goku would never say that. What the heck?
Chat says, I'll stand by the Hellsing Ultimate and Black Lagoon dub. They're from a different time, and they're from a much more niche product to a degree, right?
I mean, they again, if you want to try and be in bastion for, I guess, minorities, and the Black Lagoon dub literally has Revy refer to the Chinese woman as Chinglish.
You have to think, with stuff like Black Lagoon and Hellsing, it's so kind of over the top in what it is. You would not get a lot of these like lib shit people to actually participate in it.
Exactly. And people would basically call that out immediately, like, no, Alucard would not say something about feminism. This is about Nazi vampires.
God, I love Hellsing Ultimate so much. It's up there with like one of my favorite anime ever. I think it's so good.
Listen, everyone talks about Ceres and Integra, but Rip Van Winkle, that is a slept-on design. I love that design so much.
Oh no, I love Rip Van Winkle, and I love that she runs around like fucking singing opera while she shoots down planes with a musket. So ridiculous.
It's beautiful.
Oh no, we talked about the English dubs thing with the rhythm game yesterday. That company has been involved in a lot of localization, including all of the Phoenix Wright games. So if you've ever wondered why the Phoenix Wright games has people eating rice balls and referring to them as burgers, well, there's your answer.
I just want to know why they did that specifically, and how it still was like, you know what, we're going to take the court cases serious enough. That in-between stuff, though, it's okay. We can mess with that a little bit. Eat your hamburgers, Apollo.
Eat your hamburgers, Apollo.
I love that comic so much. Oh.
Welcome to San Francisco, Apollo.
I know what Rip Van Winkle is. I read it in high school. It's about a guy who slept for a million bajillion years. Oh, well, when you see the Hellsing Ultimate Rip Van Winkle, you're going to be like, wow, why is there so little art of this lady?
Thank you, Noir, for the super. Helsing Ultimate is so good, it made me like a French. Fair. I sure love California, Japan.
Come on, haven't you heard of Little Tokyo?
Really liked Helsing Ultimate until you pointed that out. Never watching it again now. Never watching what? What did we point out? What, that it has a French in it?
What? He sacrifices himself. He's amazing. He's the best Frenchman there.
Thank you for the Dojin character. But chat, gotta find a way to send you all out for tonight.
Yes. Remember, chat, do your research when doing research papers. Otherwise, when people go to look at your sources, you look really, really dumb.
Chat, this person called Zuzu is playing Earthbound. And we'll send you there, and I hope you all have a good night. I am hoping to come back later this week for some other stuff. I think me and Kendra talked about doing something later this week, but I forgot about it, so we're going to have to talk about it again later. I think it's in our DMs.
It is.
I'm going to have to go back and read our DMs. I've already forgotten. Oh, but night, everybody. You guys be good.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Boy. And remember, chat, don't harass anybody we talk about. We're good people here.
Be nice to them. Don't do any of that weird stuff. I had to correct some of you in chat because some of y'all got weird about it.
Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.